Greetings and salutations, guys. Welcome to part 10 of the AMC Movie Talk 24-hour live streaming marathon for the Philippines disaster relief. We are here to raise money for the terrible tragedy that happened in the Philippines. Forgive me, I'm chewing on a lozenge because my throat is killing me. We are into the 18th hour of our marathon. My throat and my voice are nearly completely gone. My eyes are getting buggy from being in front of this giant 27-inch monitor.
I thought we were going to do this with no glasses.
Yeah, we took our glasses off.
Yeah, we're going to do a no glasses style.
The guys have, in solidarity, taken their glasses off.
Well, no, the glasses are back on, so I guess our glasses are back on.
So I got my gunners on now. And but listen, the reason we are here, guys, for those of you who are watching us at whatever o'clock in the morning it is where we are, it is now almost 3:15 in the morning here in Los Angeles time, is to raise money for the tragedy in the Philippines. For those of you who don't know, last month, the most powerful, I forgot to pause on this. We have the most powerful typhoon in recorded history hit the Philippines, just devastating the place and leaving a lot of people without their homes, without water, without food. And we decided as film nerds, we wanted to do something about it. And we've asked you guys to partner with us in doing something about it. Here's what we do. We've worked with the Red Cross, set up a donation link here, and you see right here, www.crowdrise.com/AMC Movie News Philippines. Or you can look in the description of this video for a link that will take you to the page. When you get to that page, you'll see a big red Donate Now button. Click that, donate a minimum of $10 up to whatever amount you'd like. And you are going to make a difference in people's lives. Literally make a difference in people's lives. Thank you so much. We have already raised, thanks to you guys, over $21,000.
Yeah.
Which is way beyond what I thought we would. My original goal was $3,000. And you guys have passed that over seven times, I guess. Yeah. I think literally 7 times you have gone past that. Thanks so much. So, as we're doing this 24-hour marathon, the whole idea is if you are entertained or enjoying the movie conversation or whatever, if we're bringing some good stuff to your day by joining us here on this marathon, do us a favor. Click on that link, type in this URL, go to the donation page. Every cent goes directly to the Red Cross Typhoon Relief Fund. It doesn't even come to us. It doesn't even come to us first. It just goes directly to them. We never touch it. It goes directly to the Red Cross Typhoon Relief Fund. You guys are making a difference. Please continue to help us. A lot of people are telling us it's 6:15 in the morning where they are. Some of you guys have been with us for like 12 hours or more. Thank you so much. Smurfs Books is asking, do we go to VidCon? Nope, but this guy here does. This guy here is a celebrity at VidCon.
I'm not a celebrity. I just work with celebrities at VidCon.
Because you're the behind-the-scenes producer guy for all this stuff. Yes, but... guys, thank you so much. Let's just do a quick update here. This is where we are at. We are at right now $21,076.
Nice.
$21,076. We still have, dear heavens,
which is only
almost 7 more hours to go.
$479,924 away from our $500,000 goal, which we set in the last hour.
Wait, don't say we. You set.
Just a half hour ago, we decided, let's change the goal.
Look, I set the goal, and then I put the failure squarely on Campy.
Okay. As long as the onus isn't like on us,
yes.
We can simply blame John Campia.
Yes.
Or
Campy.
The Campy, as we like to call him. But remember, John, this was your idea. John is in his, is this your 17th hour?
18th hour.
18th hour. He took roughly a 30-minute break just to rest his eyes and his throat for a little bit. But other than that, this man has been going. He's on some kind of insane crusade. He's doing a good job.
I don't know how many co-hosts will be on this thing by the end of it, but there is one common thread, and that's this guy sitting next to us.
That's right.
I hope he's a big reason why you've come here for this, because the rest of us are just various icing on the cake.
Yeah, and sloughing off slowly.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel madness creeping in. I might start acting like a gibbon.
I didn't want to say anything. I'm starting to find soul attractive.
Yeah. Oh, dear God.
Anyway, so thank you guys. Remember, keep donating. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. I can't believe it's 3 a.m. here, and there's still almost 500 of you in the chat board right now, and that number is going to go up as we just started this stream. But let's get on to some more of the questions that you guys have sent in to us. We're going to start off. Let's see. Okay. This one comes from Frank Bono, and Frank Bono has donated. Thank you so much, Frank, for your donation. Frank writes, what do you guys think of a new take on Alien? You know what? I can't do it anymore. I can't read the questions. Soul has offered to switch places with me. So Soul, all you gotta do.
Okay, let me just move this, or can I drag this window?
Where do you want to move it to?
Just maybe here, right here.
I think you're gonna be able to see it from there.
No, right here.
Oh no, I'm gonna move you over here.
Oh, okay.
Right on.
And here's what you gotta do. Okay.
Okay.
This is all live, guys.
Wait, I'm getting my technical director training while we're on the air.
These 3 buttons.
Yeah, our cameras.
This is gonna be you.
Okay.
This is the 2 shot.
Right.
This is the wide shot. There's these 3 buttons, but you gotta be. If you click on here to scroll, you got to click on this again before the buttons work.
Gotcha.
So start with this question, and then we'll move our way.
Audio set, right?
Yeah, an audio set, and we will move our way up. So just put the mic down. I'll take that mic. You take this chair.
That was my Mission Impossible theme music for you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, your new host, Soul Video, Mr. Johnny Green.
Johnny Green sitting in the chair.
I apologize right off the bat for not nearly being as attractive as most of the people you're used to reading your questions. John,
do you want to rest? Do you want to rest your eyes for a minute? Do you want to chill for a minute?
Man,
all right.
Okay. Why don't you take the middle chair? Take the comfy chair there. I'll sit on the end.
You sure?
Yeah.
I was going to say you might want to take the comfy chair. If you want to take a break, let me know.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. This is the crew you get at the 3 a.m. shift on the 24-hour movie news, movie talk marathon. I know the reason you normally tune in, and I know I am not the face of that reason. But I'm just a friend who's trying to help out in.
Not trying, you are helping.
You're doing a great job, Soul. Great job.
In the midnight shift. So
in the midnight hour.
You know those DJs you hear when you're randomly awake and driving? You're like, wow, who took the 3 a.m. DJ shift? This is the guy who took the 3 a.m. DJ
What if you just, everybody close your eyes for a minute and then listen to this.
Hey, man. Hi. Hi, guys. It's almost 3:30. And I was going to say, at 3:30, you guys got to close your eyes. And at 3:30, I want all of you 487 people who are contributing. I want you to go to CrowdRise at 3:30. It's 3:20 right now. It might be 6:20 at your place, or maybe it's 1:15 in the Himalayas. But go to the crowdrise.com, and I want you at 3:30 in Los Angeles time zone. I want you to contribute at least $10. If everybody watching this, that's 487 people times $10. And if you want to make it get crazy, add $10.38. And then just watch what happens. It's going to try to make us say what the numbers are. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm losing my mind. But 10 minutes from now, I want everyone watching to just contribute $10.38. Please do it for the love of baby Jesus. Thank you.
Brilliant.
I'm inspired. Where do I donate?
Well, I'll tell you where you donate, John Gambia. There's a link right in the description. Cool. Let me hop over to the question. So obviously, there's 2, I guess, perks to talk about. The major perk, which I believe we still have 2 drawings left of, is if you are able to donate $150, you're going to get a custom, one-of-a-kind, original John Schnepp pencil and ink drawing of your choice.
But there are only 2 of these left.
There's only 2 left. You can literally tell him to draw anything you want.
Yep.
Our friends have already embarrassed Campy and myself, but people have gotten numerous superhero battling
comics.
Red
Hulk, Nebula, Spider-Man, Batman, Wolverine, an unknown Marvel versus DC characters, and of course these 2 guys, characters of them,
and Dennis in
the glass cage as Robin. Cage. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I've got 2 left. I can't add any more. My girlfriend just said you cannot go past 15.
He's been cut off. He's been cut off. The bartender has cut him off.
I know how much time each of these drawings is going to take you. I think it's great that everybody is contributing, but so I'm 15.
Yeah, he's gonna put some effort into this thing. Yeah. You're not getting a scribble on a bar napkin. You're getting something legit. If you aren't, obviously that is a fairly generous amount. If you aren't able to donate that much, even if you donate $10, there's a way to leave a comment on the CrowdRise thread that we can see, and these are the questions we're going through as we speak. So
right. So if you contribute, your question will go up here, and we'll eventually get to it in the next 7 hours. So
we will try.
We'll try.
Well, at any rate, we'll do our best.
Okay. Here we go. Frank Bono. I got the easy to pronounce names. So yeah, this is starting off great.
Yeah, the other one's like Gobscrimfilins. I'm sorry, did I say that wrong? Grobscrififilins.
Frank, first, thank you so much for donating to the cause. What do you guys think of a new take on Alien versus Predator? Yes, the previous attempts were a complete and utter disaster, but I feel if they focus the movie more on the video games and have in more on the video games
than they have in
the future, not present day, with the aliens movie type Marines on another planet, they can really make this one hell of a movie. Not to mention bring all sorts of different style of aliens, i.e. Ravager, Runner, Warrior, Predalien. Thanks and appreciate the good work for movie fans.
Before we answer the question, Geno Machos in the chat board is writing, can John Campea take over the drawings after 15 hits?
Yes.
Why not?
No. Yes, absolutely. Yes. The quality of illustration that you will get will greatly decline. It will look as if John Schnepp has had some type of seizure and
grand malls
and forgotten all type of talent. But maybe John Campea will offer up a one-of-a-kind illustration.
One drawing.
You never know.
You should do one drawing.
Oh, it would be great. But you got to set the bar a little higher. You got maybe like 200 or something. We'll think about it. We'll think about it.
I'd say 300, a one-of-a-kind drawing.
Oh,
from John Campea.
Oh, man. So amazing. Anyway.
John Campea will pencil it, and I will ink it.
Oh.
$300.
So the quality of the ink you will get will be really, you'll see him trying to make sense of the pencil underneath that he doesn't completely erase.
It's in comic terms called embellisher.
Okay.
Like you might have seen that in certain comic books, like, okay, so it says this dude did the breakdowns, and then this guy's the embellisher.
Have you seen like the people that turn children's like monster drawings into reality? Like a child will draw like a monster, and then they'll actually make the puppet of it.
Or paint it fully.
Right,
That's
or
fantastic.
paint it. That's what John Schnepp will be doing to Campea's penciling. He will take that child's nonsense drawing and make it beautiful. But anyway, to Frank's question about a new take on the Alien versus Predator movie, what do you guys, any thoughts?
No. Is the only thought. You know what? We got a pretty interesting first Aliens versus Predator, which, you know, I saw it again like about a year ago. I think it was on basic cable or something, and I was like, it wasn't that bad. Lance Henriksen was in it. The idea was pretty cool. It was like, you know, this ancient burial grounds in the Antarctic, and it had all, you know, I mean, the final execution of it, you know, there were some problems in there, but a lot of people complained because it was rated PG-13, and they were like, we didn't see enough gore and this and that. And then the second one was called Aliens versus Predators R. It didn't have an R.
Requiem.
Like, AVR or something. Yeah, Requiem.
No, AVR Requiem or something like that. Yeah.
And the R was like, look, the R is because it's bloody and we got a lot of gore in it. But they forgot to actually make an actual story, and it was more about a pizza guy losing his keys because he was trying to get laid with this girl. That was what it was more about.
I'm intrigued by this film you're talking about. This sounds interesting.
I don't want to make it sound good. I'm sorry. I'm ruining what I'm trying to say. It's like it had so little to do with Aliens or Predator that, I mean, there was some cool kill scenes. I'll give AVR Requiem that. It did definitely have some cool scenes in it. But I just remember, like, why are they focusing on this pizza boy and he lost his keys? What movie am I watching? I just remember thinking that while I was watching it. So that's not really a good sign. So I can see why you want to see a third version of Aliens vs. Predator, but it sounds like what you got is what you got already within the comic books and the video games. It sounds like what you're describing, you just want to like see played out in a movie form.
I think that because they're such iconic characters that people are passionate about, they're always going to want more. Like if I got to
interrupt for a second. Okay. All right, so there's some talk going on the chat board. Some people saying I would pay this for a John Campea drawing, I would pay that for a John Campea drawing. So all right, fine.
Yes, he's going to do it.
Here's what we're going to do. All right, I will not make it completely ridiculous. We're going to make it $250. If you want me to draw a picture of your choosing, donate $250, and in your donation note, because once you make a donation, you can put in a note, a comment. Put in it, this is for John Campia's drawing. It will be on one of these pieces of paper that John Schnepp is going to do, but make no mistake, these will not be John Schnepp drawings. This will be the drawings of a man who basically has the drawing skills of an invalid monkey. That is me. I cannot draw with crap.
To be clear, quickly, if you donate $250, you are going to get a drawing by this guy over here to my extreme right or left, depending on if this image is mirrored or not. Not this guy. This is the guy who has been offering the drawings
and has talent,
and has gotten several jobs in the past for his talent. This is a guy who I would bet people have paid not to draw things, and you are about to pay to get him to draw something. So again, this perk, drawing from him, not him.
But it's a one of a kind, so I think you guys should rock on that and make it happen for $250.
There you go. So, and I will autograph it.
As we wait for those silly or generous enough to donate that, Brandon Papa Giorgio. Hey guys, I have a bet with my coworker. Was there or is there a Fraggle Rock movie being made? Have you guys heard?
You're not wrong, as a matter of fact. I was at a Comic Book Sunday where a couple of the producers who had just successfully pitched Fraggle Rock, and they got the green light to go into development. Remember, there's two different stages here. You can get the green light to go into development, and then the green light to go into production. Those are two different things. But because lots of films can go into development and never get in front of the camera.
And you guys have heard the phrase development hell. Right?
Yeah. And that's where the phrase development
Didn't Matt Groening make a whole
Life in Hell?
Yeah. Oh, Life. Sorry, I'm transposing it.
Right, but there were a couple of development hell jokes in there along the way.
So Fraggle Rock, the movie, has been in development for at least 2.5 years, maybe even 3 or 4 years. It's been in development, but is in development hell. It's never been able to progress past that stage to production green light. Will it ever? I got a feeling it will. I think they were serious about wanting to get a Fraggle Rock movie done. Because you do it for a low enough budget, I think you can, guarantee a certain amount of box office return.
Or even a straight to DVD.
Or straight to DVD even. But I think they're looking theatrical. And I think you do a production budget $30 million or less on this, I think you can make money on a Fraggle Rock movie if you do it the right way. But once again, there's no guarantee this will happen, but it has been in development. You did hear right.
Anonymous, but they did donate $50, left this question. Hey, AMC Movie Talkers, long-time watcher, first-time asker here. My parents are Chinese but born in the Philippines. But even if I had no relation to the Philippines, I'm happy to contribute. Thank you so much for organizing a fun, crazy movie talkathon. My question is this. As we all know, DC won Comic-Con last July with their Batman Superman announcement. Looking forward to this year, who can you guys speculate may win SDCC? Can you anticipate any winners of the upcoming Comic-Con?
Yeah.
I would. My guess, Avengers.
My guess is Star Wars.
Really? Right, Star Wars.
I think Disney, Lucasfilm drops something major.
But now this is something because I'm always curious about where Disney draws this line, because when they bought Marvel, it seemed like they were going to be focusing more on like their D23
I was going to say
conventions and doing all of their like big stuff there, and then they kind of threw like breadcrumbs towards the Comic-Con's crowd. But with something as big as Star Wars, do you see them leaning more on that just because Comic-Con as an entity still has more cachet, quote unquote?
Yeah, here's the thing. You can drop... They're not going to get the attention at D23 that they'll get at Comic-Con. And this is the granddaddy of them all. This is Comic-Con. They will still hold some stuff back for D23, I have no doubt. But last D23 was their opportunity to drop some serious Star Wars stuff, and they didn't. And now, granted, they didn't have a lot to drop.
Right.
But there was some stuff they could have dropped, and they really just didn't. I see them making, and this is going to be not long after they start shooting. So obviously there's not going to be any trailer. There's not going to be any footage. but they are going to be in a position where, okay, now we're going to tell you everybody who's in this damn thing. I see, and I think that is going to shake up Comic-Con. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Here's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be in Hall H, main stage. J.J. Abrams is going to be out there. Kathleen Kennedy is going to be out there. And then the Star Wars music is going to play. Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford are all going to walk out on the platform together. The place is going to go absolutely bananas. Chewbacca will, zip fly in from the ceiling.
On an electric guitar.
But that's what's going to happen. They're going to march the three of them out there on at Comic-Con on the main stage, and it will dominate the headlines everywhere.
Yeah,
and I think and then they'll drop something else into 23.
Yeah, if they do that, that will win.
That will win.
If
Comic-Con.
they don't do that, Avengers will win. I think because Avengers will have enough footage in the can that they can actually do a trailer, like like how they did a little sneak of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Will they have footage? Because
they start shooting in February.
They do?
Yep, Avengers.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I knew they start shooting Batman and Superman. I didn't realize they start shooting Avengers in February. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did know that. You're right. So they'll have something.
Yeah, they'll
have some stuff.
Something.
Yeah, but it's almost no matter what they do. If Disney walks out, Ford, Fisher, and Hamill onto the stage, that's it. They win. That's drop the mic time and walk off.
Yeah, right. That is
like,
total
seriously.
drop the mic. Yeah. And then if they get Anthony Daniels just to voice C-3PO and have him dressed up as C-3PO and R2-D2 in the corner somewhere,
So true. All right, what's next?
Next, Richard Gabor, who also donated. Hello, all. A lot of respect for your dedication to this cause. I'm glad I could help. My question is in regards to Metal Gear Solid. I'm a big fan of the series, mainly in part due to the deep characters and intriguing story. Do you think MGS is a video game that should be considered for a movie adaptation? I am a huge fan of Metal Gear. I don't know how into the series you guys may have been, but it's definitely one of those very deep, robust franchises, similar to Halo to a degree. It was one of like PlayStation's Halos for a while because it was an exclusive title. But I mean, that in my mind is absolutely makes it eligible. It has the sales record and interest to engage a very similar fan base. So I could absolutely, like anything else, in Splinter Cell, any of these kind of like first person action games could, easily be made into a great or at least mediocre action movie. I mean, it's been done in the past. It will be done in the future. And I think the stars just have to align for it. You have to find the right budget and the right director and the right script that some studio can get behind, but I wouldn't put it past. I would, if someone was asked me to take the bet against MGS, I wouldn't. I'm sure that could very easily be in development hell somewhere.
Yeah. I being a Xbox and not a PlayStation person, never have actually played through an entire Metal Gear Solid. I've read all about them though. I, being a Splinter Cell fan, would much rather, because I love the story of Splinter Cell, would much rather see a Splinter Cell film. And I know they have, what's his, Tom, he's playing Road Warrior.
Hardy.
Thank you. Tom Hardy is supposed to be playing the main character in Splinter Cell. Metal Gear Solid, I believe they had the character's name was Snake, right? The main guy.
That Solid Snake.
Yeah, Solid Snake.
Yeah.
Looked a little bit like Snake Plissken, right? And had the eye patch and stuff.
Yes.
So it's like... and since I'm not really familiar with the story, did you play Metal Gear?
I never did play Metal Gear. I watched somebody play Metal Gear, but
Metal Gear Solid, I believe that was on PlayStation 2, was one of those like game-changing games. Like it was kind of like one of the first like stealth action games where it was really about hiding in the shadows and like disposing of the bodies, and like it was one of these games where it kind of broke the shell a little bit, and it was just amazing storytelling by I believe it's Hideo Kojima. I'm probably really massacring that name, but it was this really epic game developer that really was masterminding this series. So I mean, I would be totally psyched for.
Wow, so it has elements of Splinter Cell, like you said, like sneaking up on people.
And I would have to check the chronology or the timeline, but I would not be surprised if MGS's success, and championed a lot of budget being thrown at those games.
I think MGS was first before Splinter Cell for sure.
I want to throw this in here. We got a donation for $330 came in, but they did not ask for a picture, nor did they ask for my drawing. Which I know shocks everybody. But they did write a question. So since they donated $330, I want to ask the question they wrote. And it comes from John Gibson. And first of all, John, thank you so much for the generous donation. That's awesome.
Yes, John Gibson.
The question he asks is, hi, John and AMC friends. Congratulations on the show and the marathon. Longtime viewer, and I think it's a great thing that you all are doing. Maybe bias as a Filipino-Australian. Anyway, I was watching The Desolation of Smog the other day, and I couldn't help but get an Empire Strikes Back vibe from the way that it felt. It just felt that it really raised the stakes and left me wanting more. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Peter Jackson doing a Star Wars film, saga or standalone, and whether his style and storytelling ability with it fits this franchise. I know JJ is shaping everything at the moment, but I thought it was a fun thought. Keep up the great work, and looking forward to more AMC in 2014. Thank you so much, Mr. John Gibson, for the question. And it's funny that you mentioned the Empire Strikes Back thing. I think I might have said that to you. So after coming out of that movie, John and I were talking about at one point The Hobbit and the different views we have of it. But I said, to me, it really felt like it had an Empire Strikes Back feeling, especially with that ending of it. So I agree with you. But back before they announced J.J. Abrams as the director of Star Wars, I did a little video talking about directors I wouldn't want to see directing Star Wars, and Peter Jackson was one of them. Not because I don't think Peter Jackson isn't an excellent, excellent director, because he is. Peter Jackson is a remarkably gifted director, and I love his work. But for me, it's a question of fit. I don't see Peter Jackson's style fitting with the Star Wars universe. That's just me. Maybe he would do it and it would be amazing. But for me right now, I don't see Peter Jackson as a good fit for Star Wars. So not because of talent, just because of fit, I would say I wouldn't be down for seeing it. What do you think, Schnapp?
You know, maybe not for the 7, 8, and 9 part of the trilogy. Obviously, J.J. Abrams is doing that. But for the standalone films, I'd say why not? I mean, imagine a bounty hunter film with Boba Fett and IG-88 and Bosk and even Dengar. I don't even know what I don't know what Dengar's trip is. He wears a lot of bandages. He's got a giant gun. He's kind of fat. Dengar, ladies and gentlemen. If they handed Peter Jackson, you're in charge of the 2019 Star Wars solo film, The Bounty Hunters, or whatever they're going to call it. Mm-hmm. I think he would kill it, and it would be a lot of fun.
It's so interesting to me that it's like I feel like when you reach like truly epic movie status in Hollywood, you can now go to like one of 4 directors. You got Cameron, you can even say Whedon, Jackson, and Abrams, and it's so funny how their names are just almost synonymously tied with these concepts or these questions. And I don't know if it's because, in this day and age when a studio is about to drop $200 to $300 million on a movie, that they're like, oh, you're expecting us to pay how much? Oh, well, then you're giving us one of these 4 directors. That is the only way on God's green earth we're going to, sink this much budget into a picture.
Well, that kind of makes sense, because just like actors have, their commodity, like, hey, we need this actor. He's proven to be a box office draw all across the world, not just America. If you get him, then we're guaranteed this X amount of money of a return. And same thing with directors, I think.
It's interesting because I think to a degree, America was far... Yes. Uh-oh, did somebody donate?
Wow.
Gal Gadot has just donated $10.
I have a sneaking suspicion that's not the actual
Gal Gadot.
I'm
going to go out on a limb and say I doubt that is Gal Gadot.
But if it is, you're awesome, Gal Gadot. Rock it as Wonder Woman.
If it is, that's awesome. And actually, the email address is galgadot@facebook.com.
It's pretty awesome.
Anyway, but thank you for the donation, whoever you are, under the alias of Gal Gadot. That is pretty awesome. Thank you.
So what do you think? I said Peter Jackson doing a bounty hunters solo film could be. I mean, not 7, 8, 9. Obviously,
right.
Abrams
Not a part of the
doing
continuous
that.
story, but as one of the offshoots. Yeah, that's a possibility. It allows you more flexibility to not fit the style,
right?
And so there's more flexibility there. So I mean, that becomes more conceivable.
And
I think.
Besides Peter Jackson, then we walk into some other categories. Guillermo del Toro is now an option. You know, I mean, if he wanted to do a crazy Wookiee story that takes place on Kaishak. I mean, we're starting to get like super, nerdy about it. It's like, yes, it would be the new version of Life Day as told by Guillermo del Toro.
I think you should just, at this point in the middle of the night, Schnapp, you should just slip into the voice just as if it's your actual opinion. Like you should just have a psychotic snap where you just...
I have now psychotically snapped into a nerd that is very angry about Life Day.
Don't yell.
Oh. And I shall not wake the small sleeping creature behind me. It is a baby, a Wookiee baby, that might begin howling at the Kaishak moon, Gromblix.
All right, back to the questions submitted with our donations. I'll run through a couple of these quickly here.
Wait, before you do, I want somebody online to tell me what Chewbacca's grandpa's name was. From the Life Day holidays.
Crap, I know this and I can't.
He had some weird name.
I'm watching the chat board. He's looking for Chewbacca's grandpa.
Chewbacca's grandpa.
From the holiday special?
Yeah, from the holiday special. He had some weird name like Chubla or Crimbles or Crambly.
I know our board's on a little bit of delay, but we'll see. Okay, I'll check back on that. Watch Sergio Barker donated $25. Watch you guys every day when I get home. Keep it up. Great comment. Awesome. Jared Brown, great thing you guys are doing. Love the show. My question is, you guys seem to have more insider knowledge than most. Would any of you know, we talked about this a little earlier, how someone can get into the movie business as a career, editor, director, even actor? Figure out what you love, surround yourself with those people in that industry, and do it for as much as possible.
Yeah, we just answered this question about an hour and a half ago. But yeah, what everything Sol said: be willing to work, don't look for shortcuts. Move to the city where you got to be. Engulf yourself in that. Create your own opportunities. Work before you're given opportunities. All that kind of stuff. It just comes down to hard work. Just be willing to work hard. And quite frankly, I'll be honest with you: 90% of the people who I talk to who want to get a job in the industry out here are not willing to work hard. They say they're willing to work hard, but only after you hand them something. Right. So be one of the 10%. Be one of the 5% who's willing to work hard, and then good things will happen.
And that part, just adding to it, is to perseverance, not giving up. Yep. Working hard and continuing to work hard will pay off in the end run. So.
Right. Mr. Typo said Grandpa Baca. I don't think that was it.
You are wrong, Mr. Typo.
Chobaco?
Grandpa Lumpy.
Ooh, he's close.
Chewbacca.
No. I'll know it when it's right.
Chewbacca's grandfather is Gal Gadot.
Now you're definitely wrong.
Yoda. I don't know if that's some sort of chimera answer or what.
Grandpa Baca. I like that simply
Choose
because almost no effort went into that. What's Chewbacca's grandpa's name? Grandpa Baca. But
I'm telling you, it's itchy.
You had to figure out what part of Chewbacca you were going to hyphenate.
Grandpa Chewie?
Chewbacca's grandfather is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is also Robin.
All right, we're getting abstract here.
Atichuk, was it? Atichuk.
Atichuk. So a couple of people are saying Atichuk.
Atichuk, yeah.
That's Chewie's granddad, Atichuk? Or Atichik?
Something like that.
Who's that? The first answered it? Connor Kilmer. I think Connor Kilmer might have done it. Oh yeah, look at that down there. Bam.
Yeah,
Bambles.
All right,
I believe Connor Kilchuk was the first smartest person to use Google search. Holiday special, Chewie's grandpa, and you win a very special AMC no prize. and you're
no
awesome.
Prize.
Yeah,
but
just
you're
stealing
awesome.
Stan Lee's, comic book. Like, hey,
Hey, listen. Before we go any further, before we get the next question out there, I want to remind you guys, this is what we're here for. We are here for the fundraiser for the people in the Philippines who need it so desperately badly. Look, if we're going to hop on Kickstarter for Veronica Mars and give our money to millionaires so they can become bigger millionaires, so we pay for their movies, maybe we can use something like this and give some money to people who really, really need it, who just had their homes destroyed, no water, no food. This is your chance to really make a difference. Head on over to crowdrise.com/AMC Movie News Philippines, or just look in the description of this video for the link. Click on it, then click on that big red Donate Now button and donate. It's going to make a difference to a lot of people. That's why we're here. You guys have already raised over $21,000. Let's keep this going, see how high we can get this total.
It's already after 3:30. So remember when I asked you earlier, I said $10.30 plus 38 cents. If you could please add everyone right now, because we are past the 3:30 mark. I was asking for you to please, everyone who is on this channel right now, just take a moment and click on that red button and contribute $10.38 to make us have to. We've got to add this up. Probably a computer will add it up for us, but I want to see all the numbers added up with the extra pennies added too, to create additional fun dollars. Thank you.
Some people are saying it wasn't added. Chewbacca's grandfather is Chuck Norris.
I'd rather see if they could remake the holiday special and just Chuck Norris was the grandpa and everything else that was digitally removed.
They are correct in saying they believe he's actually Chewbacca's father.
Somebody else is saying Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's the star of 12 Years a Slave.
Oh.
Yeah, that's unfunny, whoever's writing that. No, I think Chewbacca had a grandpa. He probably had a dad in there too, but you know, maybe it was his dad. I don't know.
All right, let's get to the next question.
Hey guys, this is from Chi, who also donated. Hey guys, love the show. I saw Keanu Reeves' documentary on film versus digital a few weeks ago, side by side. I'm wondering if you guys saw it, and if you guys have a preference which medium movies are shot on. It really made me appreciate the look of Chris Nolan's film movies, even though digital is the future. Thanks, guys.
I did see it. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I did not check it out now. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's a well-made film because he goes and asks all these top-notch filmmakers their opinions on video versus film, and they go into the process of originally why we used film, how it burns the image in, how video works, how the very first video image of the CC3 processors, how those work. And then so they went from a very nice layman's giving everyone a knowledge about how film works, how video works, and then the crossover that's happened over the last 10 years. And basically, we still have Spielberg who's using 35 millimeter. He still has his films finalized and cut on film, but he's not saying he doesn't use an Avid. I mean, a lot of people are not using a 6-plate to cut. And I don't think anyone is, even if they're film purists. So the digital transition has happened, and especially in theaters, almost all theaters are now digital. Giant film theaters are. There's a few marquees that have 35 millimeter left. Prints are slowly not happening anymore, except for archival. Mm-hmm. The difference now with film versus video, even to the point of when he did that documentary 2 years ago, is vastly different. Every 6 months, there's a vast improvement in video quality. I mean, it's hard to even joke about it when you're like, oh yeah, now 4K. Everyone's talking about 4K.
Home theater 4K.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, every single HD DVD that you have is not 4K. So even if you're playing it on your 4K player, it doesn't.
But do you still have HD DVD, John? We actually went with Blu-ray as a culture, right?
I kept all my red rays. What are you talking about?
I know you said you were an Xbox man.
No
before.
Blue. Never go blue.
Do you have the little Xbox HD DVD attachment?
Never go blue. I
still have my Laserdisc player. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I have 7 of those red ray players. I have them all playing concurrently.
Laserdisc. Never moved on.
You can have the original Star Wars trilogy on Laserdisc. The unaltered versions, those exist.
Damn.
So, yeah, you know what? I am a digital fan, and I'm very happy with the way digital has progressed. I mean, I became a digital fan probably about 15 years ago. As I was using a lot of film, and boy, is that stuff expensive when you're trying to be an independent filmmaker. Mm. And, I watched video slowly get better. And it was like working with High 8. All of a sudden we had better cameras. Now we have cameras that you can emulate the look of film somewhat back then. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use video from now on, just myself. I didn't think that, films would ever go all the way digital. And as they slowly did in the late 90s and became I think the Phantom Menace was the very first all digital projection. Right?
High profile. Yeah.
It was still
shot with these Sony cameras.
But the Phantom Menace was still, most of it was shot 35.
Yes, but they shot a lot of it. They shot a good chunk of it, and then
Attack of the Clones
was shot all digital.
Yeah.
You know what really changed? There's two cameras that no one will think about, but these two cameras really changed the game as far as changing the way people think. And I still remember when Sony first introduced the VX1000 mini DV camera. Mm-hmm. It was the first one using FireWire to connect, so you can just connect these digital images now to your computer, edit right on your machine. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Then a number of years after that, Canon released a camera that really changed the game for a lot of amateur filmmakers and professionals, low-grade professionals, was the Canon XL1.
Yep, and I had one of those.
Yep. The Canon XL1 came out, and its lineage still exists, with a lot of high-end Canon cameras.
It had a space age, weird, funky look. It
had kind of an elbow shape to it,
and used all the lenses.
And it was a really cool color form with its red and white. Yep. And these cameras started changing. No big Hollywood productions were shot on these cameras,
right?
But it changed the way that from the ground up that people started to look at video. It changed everything.
Yeah.
And now it's just I see shooting with film as archaic.
Yes.
All due respect to the great masters, including Spielberg, who is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and Scorsese still shoots film,
but film is archaic. It's a bygone era.
It's weird. It's almost like it's almost like the argument is irrelevant. As harsh as that sounds to me, it seems like film will be increasingly marginalized as a medium, and it will come, if it hasn't already come full circle to. There will be the film Instagram filters for digital. There will be the digital movie makers that work very hard to make their digital look like film, and that will just be the place where we live in. Very quickly, I just want to shout out Darcy in the chat board, who has a new suggestion for John Schnepp's next movie, new video, The Death of Chewie's Grandpa, What Happened?
I'm sorry, we know what happened. It was called the Holiday Star Wars Christmas Special or whatever it was. That did happen.
Let's see. Let's back to the charity. Yeah.
Shezzy is writing, I love John's glasses. It hides the fact that his eyes are closed 90% of the time.
He did. He painted on little glasses. Also, Daniel apparently took off work today to watch this, so he just wanted to say.
Wow, thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. I hope it was worth it.
Yeah, I hope you didn't get fired. I hope you got approval.
I hope I don't leave you really disappointed, which is the thing I've said to most of my lovers in my life.
And I hope you saw earlier editions of this.
Where we were all a little more spry.
Pre-sleepy. Yeah. The special active version, the active hours. Now we're in the
you got to understand, we are getting close now to 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Which makes it 18 full hours that we have since we started the AMC Movie Talk Marathon at 10 a.m. yesterday morning.
So don't be so harsh on John if he seems a little slap happy because he's been just rocking for 18 hours nonstop.
Yeah, so please be patient with me, guys. And while you're being patient, donate to the AMC
donate
fundraiser
right
drive
at the
here.
Link on your screen there. There's also a link in the description that is even easier to click on. There are still 2 John Schnepp original pencil and ink drawings up for your bidding. All it takes is a $150 donation to get a John Schnepp custom pencil and ink drawing of characters of your choice.
Anything you want.
Any superhero or character you can think of. Metalocalypse, or if you have even a little more money to throw at this cause, for $250, John Campia will do a much terrible job.
Now, that means if your drawings are $150 and mine are $250, that means my drawings are more valuable than your drawings.
That's right.
I just want now, but he's giving out 15 of them,
and he's only doing one. So his very, very rare.
Very special.
Whoever is the holder of the
order for your loved one.
And I will guarantee you that Campia's original illustration is guaranteed to drop in value the second you get it. You will not be able to find another soul on this earth willing to give you $20. So we're talking about, you know how they talk about depreciation when you drive a new car off the lot? This is the equivalent of driving a new car off the lot and immediately getting in a T-boned accident. But You're going to have a great story. It's going to be an epic, one-of-a-kind drawing. So if you can
and
afford...
you will have contributed to a great cause.
Yes, and more importantly, it's a great cause. All of this money goes directly to the Red Cross's typhoon relief effort in the Philippines. And as we mentioned before, it's such an amazing time and age that we live in where a simple click from you, wherever you may be around the world, can send money and support to people that desperately need it, half a world or an entire world away. So, and it's 2014. Let's take advantage of this technology and, in our community and really, do something great.
This is not science fiction. This is science fact.
We're living in the neuromancer.
Yeah, we can now.
We're the ghosts in the machine.
Digitally transpose your money to help the other people from the other side of the universe.
There we are.
Kind of Terminator-y, Dalek.
John Sergey donated. Thank you, Movie Talk. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Osa G. Obi donated. Thank you very much.
Right,
Chris Bodie. Or Bode. I work with some people who used to live in the Philippines who still have family there. I also believe it's helping those in need. I also believe in helping those in need if you are able. Thank you very much, Chris. J. Mark Peterson also donated. Hey, John and company. I was wondering. I heard a year or so ago Guillermo del Toro was going to be producing an adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, which would star Emma Watson as Beauty. But considering GDT has so much on his plate now, will this ever happen? If so, what do you think of a darker take on this tale? While I know the original French story was a bit dark, I'm personally a bit nervous at how grim it could get. Disney is too near and dear to me. Thanks. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to say that the actual original real story of Beauty and the Beast is already quite dark in and of itself. It's on its own. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro. Over the past couple of years, I believe he has been attached to 76 movies.
I thought it was 142.
Might be 142.
Didn't he cut it in half
to go into production any day now.
That's right.
No, seriously, it got to be a joke about how many, like every other day, a new announcement was coming out that Guillermo del Toro is attached to this, Guillermo del Toro is attached to that.
Yeah, not just movies, but television series. You're going to do the
all
Hulk.
This kind of stuff. And I think maybe the stories are true, and he just is a guy who bites off way more than he can chew. But then slowly those projects start to drop off. Look, he's got Crimson Peak. That is going to be a very big film for him. He's got a dynamic cast. Tom Hiddleston.
They're starting that now. They're shooting.
If they haven't already, they're going to shortly be starting to shoot production. It's a terrific cast. It's a really cool sounding horror kind of film. Going to be big. So I think the Beauty and the Beast thing is done. I really do. Or it may live just under the direction of another dude.
Right. And we are all personally hoping he does the the Mountains of Madness, the Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Lovecraft's tale, and then definitely I'd love to see Hellboy 3 at some point before I die, because I loved the Hellboy movies and I really liked Hellboy 2 quite a bit. So it'd be great to see, the third movie, which I think they're planning on doing, and I know Perlman said he would do it. So at some point.
This is the problem. Well, I guess I didn't say Guillermo earlier, but I guess we throw him in the mix there. The problem, Hollywood, when you isolate your super movies to 4 or 5 directors, is that they get what's called a queue. And it's very hard for these, directors who are now increasingly tied to franchises to do anything different or come back on these, in pet projects or, in labors of love that you would love to see happen. If somebody is going to throw a Star Wars one-off movie at your boy, he's not going to have time to do, the adaptation that you heard this rumor about, unless he is such a rebel that he just, birds to... and the money, and he's going to go the direction that he wants to go, which is always a possibility.
Honestly, that's why it's exciting that Duncan Jones took on Warcraft. Yeah. I mean, he's a great director. He's hit it out of the park with Moon. Source Code was all right, but I'm really excited to see what he does with Warcraft. He's not one of those like top tier, right off the top of the, it's going to be Cameron or it's going to be. He's not one of those guys. But when you hear his name, you're like, that's a cool choice.
By the way, I have to ask, a lot of people in the chat room are talking about strip poker. At some point, did you folks bring up a concept of strip poker? Because I don't know if you guys have realized the cast you have in front of you right now, but if you were going to suggest that, you have picked the wrong moment.
Yeah, I think they want to try to break the internet, which is not going to happen because we're trying to raise money, guys.
Yes.
So
I may or may have not at some point promised that we would do strip poker.
And when he says strip
I'm reneging
poker,
on that.
What he's saying is begin donating now. Is what he's saying.
That keeps our clothes on.
That's right.
As long as you've donated the $10.38, which I have not seen yet.
Colin Spalton, who donated, says, "Hey guys, I'm so grateful that my friend recommended you guys back in September. Anyway, don't even think about it. Who is the best comedic actor off the top of your head? I hope you can answer this. Glad about what you're doing. Greatest comedic actor off the top of your head right now."
Dave Chappelle.
Steve Martin.
Patton Oswalt.
All right. Let's move on.
All right. Michael Vike. This is my second donation tonight. Been with you since 10 a.m. Thank you very much, Michael. Very generous.
It's awesome, man.
Donate. It's like the voting slogan: vote early, vote often. Donate early,
Please
donate
return
often.
and vote again.
Something we always wanted to ask was about, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Jensen Ackles? Dean
Jensen
Winchester
Ackles.
in Supernatural.
Supernatural, yeah.
John has said Supernatural is one of his favorite shows. Jensen is my favorite actor ever, but he's never done much on the big screen, despite being an amazing actor. There were rumors of him playing Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil or even Captain America. Why is it do you think he's not in more big roles? Do you think he will be a success in movies after Supernatural is over with? Thanks.
No, he won't be. And I love him. I think he's great. I think Supernatural is great, but it goes to something like everybody likes to argue with me about this, but I'm sorry, I'm right, you're wrong. TV, people who get really big with their initial first big and break into entertainment on television as leading A-list television stars have an extremely difficult time moving into the movie world. Now, whenever I bring that up, people like to throw names at me as if they know something and say, "Oh, you forgot Will Smith." Well, Will Smith got his break as a rapper. He was a famous rapper before he was ever on
Tom Hanks.
You forgot Tom Hanks. You forgot Michael J. Fox. You forgot ER boy George Clooney. You forgot
also known as ER boy.
Yes, ER boy. But here's the thing: when it comes to that, yes, I can name about 20 people. I can name about 20 of them.
What about the other 5,000?
Yeah. It's the fact is though, it's 20 people out of the past 20 years, and here's the big thing: for every one Tom Hanks, Bosom Buddies was so great. For every one Tom Hanks, there is the entire cast of Friends. For now, you say Jennifer Aniston. Granted, but what was she ever the lead actress in? What movie was she the lead marquee person? Now, but granted, I'll say she's had a very healthy film career, absolutely. But where Friends was the biggest show on television for 5 years running, where are the other 5? Nowhere. At least not in the film business. A lot of them have tried to establish.
They tried.
Yeah, they tried.
Didn't work.
And they failed. You know, I can run down like Law and Order. One of the biggest shows on television for ages and ages and ages. Are any of them in the movie business? No, but they did try. You know, the thing is, for every one Tom Hanks, we can give you 100 that couldn't do it. And why? It's because of this. It's because we have become, if one actor in the movies, say somebody plays a hitman in one movie, and then that actor plays a hitman in another movie, suddenly everybody's like, my God, that guy is now totally typecast. After 2 movies. Now, take an actor who's on TV for an hour every single week for 24 weeks for 5 years, playing the same role and the same character. And what happens is you get audiences who do 2 things. Number 1, they become accustomed to watching that actor for free. But number 2, that they just see that guy as that character because they've seen him not in just 2 little movies, but in essentially 100 mini movies over the course of 5 years, and they just can't break out of that. Look, Steve Carell was already a movie star. Where is the cast right now of The Office? Where's John Krasinski? John Krasinski has been trying to break in as a movie guy, and it's just not taken hold, even though the dude is super talented. He's super awesome. But the problem is everybody looks at him, they see Jim. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really difficult. Jensen Ackles is going to have a very difficult time. Look, at the same time that he did Valentine, his Jared Padalecki, the guy who plays his brother on Supernatural, was in the Friday the 13th remake. And they tried to get a movie career going, got no traction whatsoever. It's really hard. Everybody likes to argue with me, but the facts are the facts. Making that move from television, when you start out there as a big star in television, to the big screen, extremely difficult. Well, it's very rare.
But there are the people like Woody Harrelson who started out on Cheers and worked. I think it was like 8 seasons.
Yeah, he's one of the 20.
I know, but he's a character actor. And now he's returning back to HBO, and it was like, wow, that's so. It's like almost sometimes the opposite, where you're like, wow, that's so cool. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are doing this amazing HBO series that I'm hearing so much cool stuff about. And saw the trailer; it looks great. It's almost like, wow, they're coming to television. It's like a cooler thing to see big name actors who are in movies who are great than coming to your small screen experience. But that's been going on back and forth now. That kind of synergy is more so in the last 5 years than ever before.
Yeah, we're seeing a big influx. There's a big trend right now of movie stars going into TV. Yeah. That's a much easier transition. Now, some people, this just proves my point. Some people are saying, well, Lisa Kudrow from Friends was in Easy A. Was she the star of Easy A? How many people even knew she was in Easy A? Right. And so, I mean, that just kind of proves the point that it's very, very rare. It happens. Bryan Cranston was in Argo. Well, Bryan Cranston was in a lot of stuff before Breaking Bad. Was Bryan Cranston the star of Argo? No, he was not.
He's also in Godzilla, and he's in a bunch of other movies. But what was the TV series that he was in before Breaking Bad?
Malcolm in the Middle?
Malcolm in the Middle. He played a totally different character.
Yeah, totally different dude.
Although in his underwear just as much. Literally.
And he was the dentist in Seinfeld.
Wow.
He was the dentist in Seinfeld.
I'm just saying it was like people were really shocked and surprised when he jumped from one TV show to another.
Yeah,
I think again the case Aunt Campy is making is just that it's more the exception to the rule. It's not a general transition. It's a rarity. It does happen. He's not saying it doesn't happen, but it's there.
But on top of that, the Supernatural guy's been doing that role for 9 seasons.
9 seasons.
I mean, my guess would be like, A, he's making a ton of money per episode as this character, and B, maybe he wants to chill. I mean, I don't know if his aspirations
are
that
that high. It's not that. It is probably my favorite show on TV. Maybe my second favorite show on TV right now. But it is not that highly rated. I don't know how much money he's getting. He's making more money than me.
Right.
That goes without saying.
Way more money than me. I'm just saying, like, maybe I don't know the guy. Maybe he's like, hey, look, I'm gonna write a book.
Hey, I need to bring this up. I need to throw this in here. Apparently, we have a $150 donator named Stephen Yates.
Thank you, Stephen.
So Stephen Yates has donated
smartly. You have opted for the John Schnepp drawing.
Yes. So I am going to. I'm going to email him. And you guys, please go on with the next question.
All righty. Jason Schaefer, who donated, asked, as someone with family in the affected area, this and other efforts for relief in the Philippines is greatly appreciated. Thankfully, my family is safe and unharmed, but there are many in need. Thank you to everyone who has contributed. Now for a fun question. What failed movies would you most like to see remade? For example, The Black Cauldron was a terrible attempt by Disney to adapt the Chronicles of Prydain? I don't know how to say Prydain. However, I love those books and believe they could still be made into good films. Are there any really failed movie attempts that stand out to you guys? I don't know if this question has been asked earlier, that you would love another go at, a do-over, a movie mulligan, a cinematic mulligan.
Let's see.
Anything that jumps out to you? I'm trying to think. Normally, see, my problem is that I really relish bad movies. To a degree that if a movie is a certain degree of terrible, I don't want a thing to change.
Don't make it better.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
This has become an event for me and my friends that I will probably buy the DVD or digital download.
It's completely worth watching at least 8 more times for the suckiness.
Exactly. So, and it's just like, it's whatever. It's just one of my quirks. It's a personal taste habit of mine. So it has to be in that realm of painfully bad, but I wish it well. So it's a hard question to answer.
That is because there's certain science fiction films that for me personally were horribly reviewed and most people think suck. But there's that small contingency of people who are like,
I loved Event Horizon. And I'm one of those people where I'm like, hey, there's a ton of problems
I
with
remember that movie
Event
just
Horizon.
scaring the crap
There
out
were
of me.
several really frightening,
I guess
moments.
that's a good... Okay, so this is a good... Edgar Chavez in the chat board just said Last Airbender. Last Airbender to me...
I didn't even see it.
Last Airbender to me could have been great, but wasn't bad enough to be like one of those movies that you go and see with your friends and be like, oh, this is an event, how like
how sucky it is.
It was just a disappointing overall film.
Boring and inept.
And now
and
a bunch of people are agreeing now, Wild and Jonas. So I think Airbender is a great answer to that question. It can't be. Are there any just cinematic piles of dump that
you'd want to see remade?
Now, my argument was that sometimes they're just so beautiful that you don't want to touch them and you want to preserve them in all their dumpy glory. But is there something that stands out to you as just almost zero redeeming qualities when it could have had something?
Highlander Part 2. The Highlander original is in my top 10 favorite films of all time. The Highlander Part 2 is in my top 3 worst films ever made in the history
Please
of
remember,
cinema.
it's called Highlander 2: The Quickening.
Oh, yeah.
What was the weird planet that they were like, you're not just a Highlander that's got to chop heads off to redeem your soul bunch or whatever, how the first one worked. But the second one was like, you're also from another planet.
Yeah.
With a
and
time hole.
Where you're criminals, and your punishment for being criminals is immortality.
And banished to Earth, where you have to fight and chop each other's heads off.
Yeah, but immortality.
Yeah, immortality. And that's a punishment. And you're from the planet Kresiak or whatever it was called.
And Michael Ironside's coming to get you.
Right, and his 2 flying goons who have like nose protectors.
Hopping back into questions. Remember, guys, if you are able to donate, you can leave a question in the comment, and who knows? Hopefully, we may or may not be able to get to it. Peter Davis donated and said, "Hey guys, one of my favorite childhood movies is Young Sherlock Holmes. I just rewatched it the other day, and it holds up quite well for a movie made in 1985." Also was the first feature film to have a completely CGI character.
That's right. The glass cathedral night or whatever.
Anyways, last year, I guess it is last year. I heard you talk about a remake. Do you guys know anything about this?
Yeah, I think it's the Sherlock BBC series with Benedict Cumberbatch. No, I don't think they're going to remake Young Sherlock Holmes.
No.
I certainly hope not. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I loved the film. It was fun. I mean, I guess loved is probably too much of a... I liked it. And I think the best part about it was that stained glass knight coming to attack them. That's all I really remember from it.
Dungeons and Dragons. Tom Webb on the chat board mentioned Dungeons and Dragons. That's a great one.
As a one to be remade. Yes.
That was one that was just awful.
Yes.
But it had potential to be good.
Yes.
To remake it. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Just keep the guy with the weird
and
blue
get
snake
Michael
ears.
Ironside back to redeem himself.
That's right. Jeremy Irons.
Did I say Michael Ironside again?
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons. Dudes, I am so tired.
No, Jeremy Irons. Here, let me impersonate. I love impersonating Jeremy Irons, an amazing actor, but him in Dungeons and Dragons.
If I could just get my dragons back!
That's about as much as I'll do this early in the morning. But just imagine that for an hour, and that's him screaming every single line. Yeah. It's pretty fantastic. As that goes.
There's some great bad movie suggestions in the chat board that some I agree, some I disagree with.
Read some of them off.
Well, Battlefield Earth, I just didn't care enough about to be remade. But Lake Placid and Leprechaun are the movies that I was talking about that you wouldn't want.
What are you talking about? Lake Placid? You don't remake that. That was hilarious with Betty White.
That's what I said. I said those were the type of movies you don't remake because they're beautiful.
I love Lake
Highlander 2, The Quickening, the planet was Zeist. And thank you so much, James Beckett. Should Highlander 2, The Quickening be remade?
Yes. Yes, it should be remade.
But I mean, I'm saying, should they remake it and include the planet Zeist horrible origin?
No, just
or just be like, look, that never happened. Here's the proper sequel to the Highlander.
All right, moving back to the questions from those generous donors. Varun Joshi says 2 questions for AMC. One, I read on several forums speculating that Agent Coulson could be Vision, explaining why he is still alive. Do you think that could be true? 2, Do you know how the Bifrost Bridge got repaired in Thor 2? Oh, well, you better prepare your voice for this. Because, I mean, the question alone, do you know how the Bifrost Bridge got repaired in Thor 2?
You cover Agent Coulson. Okay, I got the Bifrost.
That's a theory I've heard before, that Coulson may actually now be an android infused with the life essence, if you will, maybe even the brain of Agent Coulson. That's a possibility. However, I mean, they do all the physical tests, his body seems completely normal. There's nothing robotic or machine about it. But still, maybe it's a new incarnation, a new type of machine, a new incarnation of Vision. That's a possibility. And it would make sense. It would fit into what they're doing. I don't think that's the way they're going to go. But if they did, I have no logic problems with it. It would sort of make sense. I have a hard time believing they're making a Vision, though.
But if Agent Coulson is a Vision, would that then force all the cinematic Marvel Universe fans to have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Maybe.
I don't know. They're dropping clues in there like little breadcrumbs.
They're dropping clues as fast as they're dropping viewers on that show.
Dang. All right, everyone. Bifrost. I think the person who rebuilt the Bifrost, who wrote that question?
Varun Joshi.
Varun.
Yes.
Joshi, you super nerd weirdo. That is probably the most nerdiest question I've ever heard all day today. So why would you even ponder that for less than a millisecond, let alone take all that creative energy to type it out and think that we would have that answer? The person
I've got the answer.
Hemdell.
Yeah.
Obviously, and his cronies. He's got you don't see them because they're not in the movie, but like right out of the camera's gaze are about 8 of these dudes.
They're Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, they're all super sweaty. They got their own Asgardian comics and weird stuff that they're like crocheting baby Thor hammers. And then they're busting ass rebuilding Bifrost. And it took about, how long did it take, John? Like about 2
years.
Yeah, about 2 years.
2 years to rebuild the Bifrost.
Yeah, for the second movie to come out. Bifrost. There we go.
I think that was a perfectly valid answer, albeit a little hostile towards somebody who donated to a great cause.
Yes, thank you for donating. And the hostility was not about you. It's just that we've been sitting here. I've now crossed the 12-hour mark.
Okay, we've only got just to we only have one picture left.
That's right. I'm only doing one more drawing
because we've got a winner here that I'm forwarding on to Schnepp now, and then I think we've only got one left, and that is it.
Who's that winner? What's their name?
This one is Stephen Yates.
Stephen Yates. Thank you again for donating. And did they say what drawing they want?
They want a picture of Nathan Explosion on the first Anchorman poster. What's Nathan Explosion?
Nathan Explosion is a lead singer of Death Clock. He's one of the first characters I designed. It was Murderface and then Nathan Explosion.
I thought they were trying to say Nathan Fillion.
No.
Nathan Explosion.
But they want him on the
Anchorman poster.
On the first Anchorman poster.
I'm guessing instead of Will
Ferrell. Okay.
They also said he's also ready. And can you ask Schnepp if there will be a season 5 of Metalocalypse? If so, when?
There might be a season 5 of Metalocalypse, but I've moved on and I'm not working on Metalocalypse anymore. But thank you guys all for the first 4 seasons. Those 8 years were amazing. So I have no idea.
Steve P, who donated. Hey guys, what do you think of John Wayne movies? Any thoughts on John Wayne movies?
John Wayne was a living genre unto himself.
Yep.
John Wayne became a genre.
I was going to quote Repo Man. John Wayne was a fag, came to the door in a dress. But that's from Repo Man. Yeah, John Wayne, when I was a little kid, I remember seeing a bunch of John Wayne movies. Was never, myself personally, was never a big fan of all those John Wayne Westerns. Mm-hmm. I ended up seeing True Grit later and really dug that. And later on, I was like, oh yeah, he was kind of a fun and interesting actor, but I think his time was from the past, and I don't know. How about you? Were you a John Wayne fan?
Well, I mean, obviously, it was well before my time.
Right.
I went back and watched the original True Grit after watching the Jeff Bridges one. I actually prefer the Jeff Bridges one, the new thing. Of
Same
True
here.
Grit. Once again, proving that remakes can be great.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of. I saw a bunch of westerns that he was in. When I was a little kid on TV, and honestly, I was just trying to think, can I remember or differentiate them that much? Not really.
Yeah, my dad would smack me though for saying that the new True Grit is better than the original True Grit, but that's just the way I see it.
Well, yeah, it's generational. So if you're a big John Wayne fan, that's awesome. It's like luckily a ton of his movies are now available for your enjoyment on Blu-ray.
Thanks to Sean Kale Meyer, Sean Kale Meyer, and John Stemmer, both who donated and just said keep up the great work. USA Ma 905 also donated, says, hey, I applaud the AMC crew. You are a necessary evil in my life.
That's awesome.
You are the reason why I continue to procrastinate on my finance finals. And now while I sit here in Blue Mountain regretting the decision to go skiing during another winter storm in Ontario, you have come clutch with this 24-hour campaign to salvage my weekend. Awesome. Question. Well, we're glad we can help you along with everyone else. Question: what happened to the Keanu live-action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop? It just fell through the cracks. Is there any chatter of it coming back to life, or should I just rewatch the anime again?
Rewatch the anime and then see 47 Ronin for the answer.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. You're not. Yeah, it's done. That's not going to happen.
Wait, are you saying because of 47 Ronin?
No, it was done anyway. And since it was done and had nothing else to do, he went on and did 47 Ronin.
Yeah. Was 47 Ronin done like a year ago?
Well, it was shot.
Everything. No. I mean, not done in the sense of the movie being done. I mean, I don't know, the studio giving up on it or whatever.
But I heard that it was actually shot without Keanu, and then they reshot the entire movie.
They shot pickups to add him into the final action sequence or something, because I guess he wasn't the main star.
He wasn't the main star, yeah. And then they did these tests, and here in America, people were like, no, we want him. So I don't know. I mean, maybe...
That's never healthy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we're hearing good things about it, and I haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen it yet, but we're hearing good things.
I want to see it.
There is a new cartoon coming out, or anime coming out on Adult Swim by the Cowboy Bebop people, that's kind of like this space comedy. From what it looked like.
I saw the trailer and I was like, I cannot wait to see that.
What is it called?
It's got a super weird name too. Man.
If you guys are in the chat board, let us know.
Yeah, please tell us.
What is the space comedy by the Cowboy Bebop people that's coming out on Adult Swim?
It looks so freaky and awesome. I cannot wait.
I want to say his name is not danger, but it's one of those adjectives.
Disco Slampy. Yeah. It's got a weird name. I remember because it's so weird I couldn't burn it into my brain.
Folks, I think we've got our final. This is our final. John Schnepp drawing has now been won. It is Joshua Mowat has won it.
All right, Joshua.
So please, by all means, donate another $150, everybody, if you'd like. Just please don't do it thinking you're going to get a John Schnepp drawing.
Right.
That is now done. That is now done.
There is one Campia drawing still left.
For $250, and he would like a drawing of Godzilla, but from the original movies.
Space Dandy. It's called Space Dandy.
Space Dandy, and then I'm going to draw you an original from the Toho classic Godzilla. The fat legs, the original man in suit style. That's what you're getting, which is awesome. Good choice.
Thank you, everybody on the chat board. The chat board is now filling with Space Dandy.
Space Dandy. Wait a second. I think I've got it. It's called Space Dandy.
And it's great because doesn't it have isn't the teaser trailer have Misfits or something in the background?
Yeah, it's madness. I think I don't know if I imagined this, but did I see a cartoon breast exploding?
I think. It is from the depths of adult cartoondom, but it just looks amazing. It's like an alien bounty hunter, I think. So,
but in a rainbow suit or something, right?
Well, I mean, this guy, Dandy, whatever, right. He's an alien bounty hunter. So, man, looks so great. Yeah.
And guys, once again, cannot emphasize this enough. The John Schnepp drawings are now off the table. The last person has just got it. Thank you again to Joshua Mowat for your donation of $150. Schnepp will be making that drawing for you. So please, guys, by all means, donate $150 or $200 if you'd like. Just understand that the John Schnepp
drawings are gone. If you really like Schnepp's inking, though, he has offered to ink Campia's drawing. So if you do donate $250, you can still get Schnepp inking.
I've sworn that I shall embellish if he so desires.
And you have to leave the original pencil there. You have to show the before and after.
So that would mean that I would have to make a clear acetate overlay, your pencil drawing
or photocopy.
No, I would do it the right way. I was like, that way you'd have a fun thing that you can have, and
Oh, that would be beautiful, and it's worth it. 250. You could see the before and after. You just lay the paper down.
That's it.
200. That's it. That's the only drawing that is left as a perk. $250. You can get a John Campea original illustration of anything of your choice.
That's right.
And Schnepp will ink it,
embellish,
and create the overlay for you, so you can lift.
Full disclosure: the picture will suck. I cannot draw.
His embellishment won't, though.
But I'll autograph it, so it'll be worth.
It'll be awesome.
$250. That is the best.
That's a one of a kind, so that'll be a lot of fun.
And not only that, but that $250 goes directly to the Red Cross. So I mean, as silly as the reward may be, it is definitely a great cause.
It's a no lose situation, except for me that I have to ink it. But no,
tell me that DJ Jones didn't just coin this, but Schneppik. That's pretty great. It is it would be a Schneppik drawing.
Awesome. Well, please somebody donate $250 and let's keep beefing up the pledge. I think that's a great thing. And if you haven't donated yet, pop in $10 right now. All you guys who are watching.
I should address this here. Matt Terrell is asking on the chat board, and others have been asking throughout the night if AMC Movie Talk is now back, because we have been off for a couple of weeks due to the Christmas holidays. The short answer to that question is no. It's not back yet. We have done this 24-hour marathon, which should give you guys like several weeks worth of content that we've done in one day.
That's right.
24 individual 1-hour shows.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. Don't you think?
But what's happening is that today, just 2 or 3 hours after we're done the marathon, we are getting in cars and driving to Las Vegas. The whole AMC Movie News crew, we're going to Vegas after collecting all your donation money. No, we don't touch your donation money. Right. We can't get our hands on it. It went straight to the Red Cross. But we are going to Vegas for the New Media Expo, which is now an annual thing that we all do as a staff. We go to the New Media Expo, where we are also nominated for the Academy of Web Television Awards for Best News Show and Best Host, me. And those awards are on the 7th. So Amy Rose and Schnepp and Chris Lee are coming back on the 7th.
Yeah.
And they will be starting up the regular AMC Movie Talk again on January 7th.
And that's what is the day? Is that Tuesday?
I think it's a Tuesday. Yes, it is on. It's Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, they will be starting up AMC Movie Talk again, and then Dennis and myself and Aaron. No, just Dennis and myself will be back for AMC Movie Talk on the 9th. But the regular AMC Movie Talk shows start up again on Tuesday, January the 7th, because we're going to be in Vegas until then.
For those of you worrying that John is driving, he's not driving. Dennis is driving both of these guys.
Dennis is currently sleeping right now, getting the driving energy going.
And for the rest of people maybe commenting on how tired we may or may not look, I will remind you that it's 4:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Campea, according to my math, has been broadcasting for at least 37 hours at this point. John over here has been broadcasting for at least 20 of those. So it's really late in the middle of the night for us, and we're gonna try to. My eyes are twitching. I don't know how you're even upright, but my eyeballs
feeling
are
a bit
twitching.
punchy, starting to sweat.
My throat is killing me. I'm having a hard time holding my head still.
John, at any moment that you want to take a break, we can rock for another couple hours. I think Aaron will be here in 30 minutes. Take a break, dude. I think you should just
Let's
chill.
answer one more question, and then I'll look at taking a break.
Yeah. Joseph Hernandez, happy to do my part. You're awesome. Great. You're awesome, Joseph. Hugh, please take a moment to rant about any topic of your choosing. Thank you all for what you're doing.
Take a moment to rant. Go.
I'm so tired.
Rant about being tired, Campy, and how
so
sore your throat
tired.
is.
Why the heck did I ever say let's do 24 hours?
He did not swear. He said so frickin' tired.
Yeah.
What is the longest amount of time you have ever talked previous to this moment, or are you breaking some barrier in your own life record right now?
No, this is by far. I mean, about a month ago, we shot like 4 AMC Movie Talks in one day. My throat was killing me after that, but that was like 4 1-hour episodes, or AMC Movie mailbags. I mean, we did.
I gotta say, this beats my previous. I had done like I think 10 hours on this one Meltdown fundraiser, which we barely raised any money because it was kind of crazy, but that was a lot of fun. This has been a lot more fun, and I'm so happy that all of you guys have been pitching in and contributing towards the Philippines crowd rising source. So if you haven't done it yet, right there, check it out. Go to that site. Just contribute $10 or $15 if you're still watching. That's why we're doing this right now at 4:30 in the morning, because if you guys are watching it, we're here to just try to raise more money than where we're at now. We want to go another couple hundred, a couple thousand if we can.
I have stated our goal in the past hour. We are trying to raise $500,000.
He is holding out for the person.
We are currently only $479,000 away from that.
Here's the interesting thing. As tired as, like, we started broadcasting, let's see, -6, 18 and a half. We started broadcasting 18 and a half hours ago. It's getting hard to swallow, actually.
Oh, man.
And there are still, here we are at 4:32 a.m., and there are 756 people in the live chat board with us right now.
You crazy freaks.
You guys are beasts. You guys are absolute beasts. Thank you so much for joining us. And look, once again, crowdrise.com/AMC Movie News Philippines. Go there, donate. If you're getting any entertainment, or amusement, or just laughing at us. Look at these idiots on the internet.
They're like, I can't believe they're still talking.
If you're getting any enjoyment out of us and the movie discussion going on here, can you do your part? Hop on over there, make a donation. That is why we're doing this movie-thon. That is why we've been broadcasting for 18 and a half hours right now. Thank you so much to everybody who's donated. I never in my wildest dreams did I think that together we would all reach $21,000, which is where we're at right now.
And rising.
Thank you so much, guys. And just keep it coming if you haven't done so yet. And maybe you're just joining us now. Maybe it's like 7:30 on the East Coast where you are, and you're just checking it out now for the first time. Everybody's getting together, and they
By
are
the way,
donating.
somebody just asked, did you guys get any commission out of this? No, nothing.
No.
This any money that is donated on CrowdRise is getting wired directly to the American Red Cross.
Yeah, this isn't. Remember, the way we've set this up with the Red Cross.
You're not
and
giving
CrowdRise,
money to us.
Yeah.
No, it's not like the money is coming to us and then we're going to take that money and give it to the Red Cross. It never gets into our hands. When you hit that donate now button, that money goes directly to the Red Cross Typhoon Relief.
Yeah.
That we don't touch it. We don't give it out to it. Goes
We don't get
them.
any points or percentage or slivers. We're just, the only thing we get is the satisfaction of helping.
And sleep deprivation.
Great. Sleep deprivation.
We get sleep deprivation as well, yes.
But
that is already, you know why? Because I don't have $21,000 in my pocket to give to this fund, but what I do have is time. What these guys have is time, and we've been willing to. These guys have been willing to come along with me and donate that time and his talent to draw some pictures. And Soul isn't even part of AMC, and he's here. He just dropped in and said, "I'm here to help," and look what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's helping. So we want to give you guys entertainment. I know I've personally donated to the pledge as well. And then you guys do your part by jumping on the donation page, dropping $10, because none of us have $21,000 in our pocket, but collectively we do. And that's when we can make a real big difference. And that is why we've been broadcasting for 18 and a half hours and why we will broadcast for 5.5 more.
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
John Campia, you got to take a break, man. I think, because I don't want you to be sick. You could possibly actually get yourself sick for tomorrow, and we're doing this conference for 3 whole days.
Okay, I'm going to go sit in my recliner for 20 minutes.
Yeah, chill for a little bit, man.
I'll leave you guys in these guys' respectable hands. Remember, no screaming.
Is this going to turn off?
There's a baby Wookiee
or
behind
is the
us.
stream okay to keep going?
That stream is okay to keep going.
Okay. All right, we're going to stay with the stream.
Right on. John Campia will be back in about 30 minutes with Erin Darling. She'll be showing up in about half an hour. The beautiful, very fun blonde gal, Erin Darling, shall be showing up to add some of her flavor to this sleep-deprived madness that we're in right now.
This is the part of the broadcast where you can ask any embarrassing questions about John Campia that you want, and we will. Maybe that's better.
I'll go back. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, there it is.
We rock that 2 shot now. All right. Two-shot Shakur.
Anything
That's horrible.
you ever wanted to know about John Campea, we are here to dish on. You may not recognize this face unless you were a diehard Campea fan.
From the very beginning, right?
Yes, from John Campea's early shows. Back when he wrote the movie blog, he did a show on nowlive.com called The Movie Blog Uncut, which was kind of like his live video podcast, and I was his producer on that network. So if you remember the very early John Campea video podcast, you may remember him yelling at Soul Video. That's me. Who's the guy with the doofy glasses? That would be me. My name is John. I'm a third John in this group.
That's right. We rock my three Johns. We totally rock that.
But Campea's always called me Soul because my screen name on Now Live was Soul Video. So he's always called me that. That's how some people may be familiar with me. But I'm just here because it's a great cause, and I could see Campea trying to take on this Herculean effort, and John Schnepp's obviously nice enough to lend his time as well. And you just want to, when you're presented with these opportunities in life, you just kind of want to do what you can to help out in whatever way. So,
and to be totally honest with you, like when I got here, like right around I think it was like 3:30 or something, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna start at 4. Originally, I was gonna try to make it to my friend Stephen Daly. It was his birthday today, and I was like, I'm gonna go over to Tam O'Shanter, and that just did not happen. My girlfriend had arm surgery, and she wasn't feeling good, and I was like, it's gonna take me a while to get there and then come back. And I was like, they totally understood, so I still have his birthday present, and I wished him a happy birthday, Stephen.
If he is a good friend, he will understand.
He totally understood, and it made just doing this, like honestly, it's 4:38, and I've been doing this now for 12 and a half hours.
Yes.
And I am very tired. I will say that, but it's not been that bad. It's actually been a lot of fun.
I feel like I got here around midnight.
Yeah.
So I've been here for 4.5 hours. This is another good question. I'm only answering questions about John Campea right now. DJ Jones asks, how did John get in? Great question. He tricked her. She was a beautiful, intelligent young lady who Campea, over a series of months, he basically catfished her. Right. So he started writing her and really getting her to emotionally fall in love with him, so that regardless of his physical appearance, when she met him, she would have notes. She's like, I guess
they agreed to exchange notes. Originally, it wasn't even online; it was just like paper notes.
Right.
That he said, "I will leave this note at this address under this rock." Yeah. And then she was like, for some weird reason, she just started doing it. It worked for her, and she was like, "This is intriguing to me." And man, super catfishing and successful too. So hats off to John Campea. So.
Yes, all super tired. All right, back to the questions. Again, if you are able to donate, there's a place where you can leave a comment, and that's where we're pulling all these questions. Hugh Nguyen? I've always said so. Nguyen.
Or maybe the N is silent. It's Nguyen.
Well, it's like the most popular Vietnamese surname.
Right.
That you're unfortunately dealing with two Caucasians right now who don't have the surname. But anyway, hey, AMC movie crew, love your show. My question is, what do you think about the 48 frames per second frame rate that movies like The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug was shot in? Was Smaug shot in 48 FPS?
Yes,
I didn't see. I saw the Hobbit in 48, but I didn't see Smaug.
Yeah.
I watched The Hobbit at theaters and felt that the movie looked a bit like it was filmed with a crystal clear, high-def home camera. The look of a home movie is similar to the look you get when watching Blu-ray movies on certain LCD TVs. There's also an instance when the movement of characters appeared to be sped up for just a brief second. Overall, the movie lacked a cinematic look and pulled me out of the movie. What were your thoughts? I will say that I am a huge technology fan. Like, I will almost blindly embrace new and better technologies just for the sake that I'm just... like I said, I'm a blind evangelist, for better or worse, and I assume that when technology gives me something new, it must by its very nature be better. When I saw The Hobbit in 48 FPS, I was like, nope, this isn't better. But I didn't know if it was like a generational thing or something that and clearly I was now aging myself on, because all the kids' movies in the future will be 48 FPS. What's your gut reaction to it?
My gut reaction is, I saw The Hobbit last year in 48 frames per second in IMAX in 3D. And it was fantastic. And I remember hearing a lot of here, let me just get that. I'm going hands-free right now, so no, you're
I
in
didn't
there. No, that's if you stay right there, that's perfect. All right. And I remember reading a lot about the critics all saying very similar things, like, I felt like I was watching a video, and it felt like it was a DVD sped up, times 1.5.
I heard that like the soap opera look a lot was.
I heard that too, and honestly, I don't know if it's like I have different eyes or something. It was like I did not.
You have special eyes.
I have very special eyes. That I did not see any of this 1.5 DVD speed up that I read 5 or 6 critics say, and I also did not see this video look that a lot of people complained about, like, hey, it looks like a kind of a cheap.
It did not, like, I'm talking right off the bat, like when they were
in the Shire.
Yes, when that jib camera was coming down over him walking into the building.
Right.
Instantly, I was taken out of the film just because of that movement. Watching it, I felt like I was watching an actor move across a stage, and my brain had never perceived that movement that way before. I'd always very easily been able to lose myself in a film, and I just have totally taken for granted what 24 FPS meant and what my brain was able to fill in those gaps with.
But did you find, like, after that initial kind of shock or being taken out, that you then came back in?
No, because I remember the special effects in particular really threw me for a loop. Like, I remember the in the underground caverns where the bridges were like collapsing,
right?
And it looked like popsicle stick. You know what I mean? Like models. Like it looked very. Wow. It almost looked like and they were saying that the one place that looked really good was with Gollum in his cave when it was super dark and it was just the CGI creature.
Right.
That's when I was okay with it. But when it was not the creature, when it was just an effect or just live action people, my brain just didn't like it. It wasn't even like necessarily a taste thing. It was like I was getting more information that I just wasn't able to.
No, here's a question. Like,
process.
did you see it in IMAX 3D with the 48 frames? Or
I think it was the whole kit and caboodle. I think it was 3D. My ticket was like $57, so I think it was like the chair vibrated and
the D-box.
Like the waitress came out and slapped you in the middle of it and
splash you with cold water.
Exactly.
But it was from the Shire. This water is from the Shire. Honestly, I didn't have that feeling with The Hobbit, but when I saw the second, The Desolation of Smaug, I just saw it in regular 24 frames without the IMAX or the 3D, and to me it was weird because that had a few shots in it where I was like, wow, those orcs look like they're a video game.
Right.
Or it was like, oh, the scenes where they're in the barrel, it felt all of a sudden very video-y. And I talked with several friends who'd seen it in 3D, 48 frames. They were like, no, those are the scenes where it really shines. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's like to each person, they're going to absorb it and perceive it differently. And it is a new way of viewing cinema or film in general or TV in general. It's like 48 frames per second. The way our eyes process real life, if you were going to call them frames per second, we see at 60 frames.
Viewing or negewing?
Eyeing. I'm
sorry,
eyeing.
Hugh. Sorry, Hugh. That was a terrible joke at your expense. But that's what time it is.
Yeah. Well, no. Seriously, I think it's like 60 frames per second, and most video has the 60 fields, but they're just doubling up. So that doesn't really technically count. And a lot of other kind of special effects people, I believe it was, I want to say, Douglas Trumbull, from the special effects guy who did a lot of the work on 2001. He directed Brainstorm with Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood. He had been developing for a very long time a 60 frame per second.
Well, wasn't Cameron talking about it? Yeah.
But after Douglas Trumbull, Cameron was also taking the lead from Trumbull and saying, I want to do this 60 frame because that's how we actually. That's our real life. If we saw something filmed in 60 frames per second, it would be like that person you would feel like you were watching a person on stage, like how you were saying. that kind of like I'm pulled out of the movie because it feels so real. There isn't any of that filmic grain, and there isn't the depth perception is like instantly locking into the way you perceive reality. So
I think part of it is very much like I said. I think it's how your brain is wired. And I think your brain is either wired in such a way that it accepts that new information and those new frames is like, oh, thank you for helping me fill in these gaps. I don't have to fill in as many gaps with this much more information. And it treats it as like native information.
Right.
And then your brain can be wired in such a way that when it gets all those new frames and you're watching it, it's very foreign and fake. And your brain almost wants to be able to fill in those gaps and doesn't want this, almost like it's like an organ donation that your body rejects.
Right. It's a good way of saying, hey, either your body accepts it or it's a full-on rejection.
But what's even, the cynical part of me is just like, well, how many other things can they add on to this movie? You know what I mean? Like the frame, I have to pick the frame rate and the dimension and the vibration and everything else.
Would you like D-Box or G-Box? Let me go with G-Box. All of a sudden you're floating.
Anyway,
it's anti-gravity.
We'll move along. B. Zhang, who donated, thank you very much. Can you please watch the Kung Fury trailer that dropped last week on your next break and give me your honest opinion? I think you'll love it. Keep bringing on the filthy. P.S. I'll be sending John some art from John the Dungeon Master. Can't be as soon. Have you seen the Kung Fury trailer?
Yes, I loved it. And check it out. I watched it.
I've seen it as well.
It's
pretty.
The day it dropped, before it went everywhere, it was like it hadn't reached its goal yet.
Because it was a Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, it's still a Kickstarter, but it was like somebody just posted it, and I was like, wow, it looked, just from the little image, I was like, oh, that looks fun. Mm-hmm. I'm working on a unicorn project. It was called Laser Unicorns. I was like, oh, I'll click on that and watch it. Blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to contribute to this later that day.
Right.
Later that day, over 1 million people had seen it, and I was like, I clicked on it, and at the time when I watched it, I think it was like at 84,000 or something. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's almost half of what they're looking for, and it's just the first couple, like it's the first day of funding.
Right.
And it went around the internet like wildfire.
I was on Reddit's homepage for like a good, I would say, 16 to 18 hours, which is like boffo for Kickstarters,
and deservedly so. Yeah. I mean, I think it's at 400,000 now. It's like they were like they got what they wanted, and now they were like, hey, if we get to 1 million, we'll make a feature film. I think it's gonna get to 1 million easily because they still have like 25 days to go, and it's at like 400,000. A lot of people were talking about the Kickstarter rewards. They were like, it's a little unclear. Like if you click through all the rewards, you're like, now am I just getting the poster, or am I getting the Blu-ray and the poster? Right. And the writer, director, actor, I think his name is David Swanberg. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but he posted like when I clicked back to it, I was like, oh man, I still haven't contributed, but hey, I've got 25 days just like you guys. So I think we're all going to kick in on that. I'd love to see that as a feature. He said, I'll clarify a lot of stuff. It's just everything happens so fast. You know, if you were in his position, you're like, hey, that dream project you were working on, and you busted all this time and effort. You spent $5,000, which is, it's not a lot. It's not a lot of money, but it's a lot of money if it's your own money that you're spending on your own time and shooting little bits and pieces with your friends to try to cut something together that's all green screen. Your skill being, I know how to build 3D graphics and composite. Bam, I'm making this look high. This, 30 seconds is going to look super
badass. If you guys haven't seen, we urge you to check out that Kung Fury trailer. It's pretty amazing. I think it is the perfect example of the questions that were being asked earlier about, like, how do I be a director? How do I be an actor? Well, I mean, in this circumstance, if you're fascinated with visual effects, then you are buying After Effects Bibles on Amazon, and you're downloading the trial software, and you're playing around with it, and you're, in your spare time over years, you're building up, oh, okay, this is how I composite, this is how I key out green screens. And then over the months, you're looping your friends in to film these green screen segments, and you're building this trailer, and now you have a trailer, and you put it on a Kickstarter. And if your humor and talent is there, then it gets spread around and it gets viral, and all of a sudden you're directing this movie. You know what I mean? It is, but it is not that guy didn't iMovie that trailer together. That guy was able to put Kung Fury together because of his passion for visual effects and the years and hundreds of hours he spent in After Effects and 3D modeling programs and compositing. So I mean, it's a brilliant trailer. I don't even know how you describe it other than it is this like ultra actiony like 80s action movie that's I don't know.
It's half schlocky, half
it's
video
like
game.
Vice City meets like Scott Pilgrim meets what was the Kung Fu comedy?
Just a Chuck Norris movie, maybe.
Kung Fu Fist or something or
sure.
Anyway, it's brilliant. A lot of Bob keeps wondering if John Schnepp is single or is he ready to mingle. He's already dropped a hint in that saying that his girlfriend has limited the amount of drawings he was able to create. So that should answer your question. Sorry, Bob. I don't want to disappoint you.
Yep. I currently live with my love of my life.
So,
my girlfriend,
and unless her name is Bob, you're out of luck.
But yeah, check out. We've both seen Kung Fury. It's a lot of fun, and the only things that I read that I was like, I don't know why anybody would even write that. They're like, I don't know if it would make a good movie. It just seems like that. It's like, look, the guy, he said he shot a 30-minute short, so that's what he's trying to
Kung Fu
fund.
Hustle. That's what it was.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah,
Totally.
I was trying to mix it up. Anyway, you're hanging out with John Schnepp and Soul Video. You probably recognize that guy. I was a producer that used to work with Campia about 4 or 5 years ago.
Now he's working with the Fine Brothers, rocking that reaction activity.
Yeah, I produced
Kung Pao. That was
Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Yeah, that was another one.
And
But Kung Fu Hustle, both of those are great. So,
yes. Sorry, we're not more awake or attractive. That's what you're getting.
Yep. Just put an attractive photo over us, and then imagine that really attractive dude talking all mad kinds of stuff like we are.
I think like MacBooks and like the photo booth, they have like augmented reality like tracking software. Like you can put a party hat on yourself or sunglasses. Yeah. So just like CGI track some like really attractive. You could do like the Brad Pitt thing here. Yeah. I don't know what you want to go with.
I just put the Hulk on my face. So
or just the Hulk. It can be Brad Pitt
or MODOK. Just have MODOK's face rocking around with me. So that'd be awesome.
I feel like MODOK's a step down.
I'm gonna rock that MODOK is just a face with a weird baby body attached to it. I saw that. If you want to go to check out my website, it's schneppzone.com. But the more active one right now is the YouTube channel Schneppzone. In fact, in about a week or so, there'll be a ton of videos on there. So subscribe to it, check it out. And if you want to subscribe to me, I'm just at Twitter, John Schnepp. What's your Twitter handle?
The John Show, spelled correctly, JON, THEJON Show.
So let's go to another question.
Let's see. Okay. Hey. Well, this is video gamey. Kokujin Japan, who donated, say, hey, AMC Movie Talk, I love your show. Keep on the filthy. I think it's great this is happening. Stay strong, guys. My question is, with the Netflix Marvel deal of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist getting TV shows, and then afterwards being in the new Defenders show, do you think that these shows will be darker stories but in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And does this mean that these characters will be in the Marvel movies? I actually had no idea there was a Netflix Marvel deal.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
It was not that long ago. It was about a month ago, but it made big news, but it was like it came. The news was like a week, so maybe you were super busy. But yeah, Netflix made a deal to do a series, like a Daredevil television series, which I had been like pounding on, like just because whenever we talked about movies with Marvel got the rights back to Daredevil and Ghost Rider and some other films, from these other companies that were like, well, we're not going to do anything with them. So then since they didn't do anything, Marvel got the rights back. So a lot of people were like, when are they going to announce that Daredevil movie? And I was like, look, they already tried a Daredevil movie. I've said, check out the director's cut. It's okay. It's not great. I mean, it's fun. I'll say that. And there's some misfires in there, but it's not a horrible superhero film. It has some redeeming qualities to it. But I thought Daredevil, you have regardless of him being blind, you have a lawyer. Mm-hmm. That's just the perfect setup for a procedural. You know what I mean? Like a television series, Daredevil just seemed to me like, man, that just makes so much sense. Let him be a lawyer and do these make it like a crime series. But then the added bonus is at night he puts on a crazy outfit. He's blind and has sonar powers. You're like, what? It's like, I think it'd be a great series. And so I was very happy to hear that Netflix is not only are they doing like, I think it's like 10 episodes of Daredevil, but then they're doing this entire
this is live
block.
action.
It's all live action. You got Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. The comic book was called Alias, but of course they don't want to confuse that with the Alias J.J. Abrams, so they're calling it just Jessica Jones.
So this is a single show. This is with these...
No, 4 separate shows.
Holy...
4 separate shows. All of them, I'm pretty sure, are like 10 episodes. And then after each of those 4 separate shows, which will all air at the same time, they're going to do a group series. Like I think it's 3 2-hour movies called The Defenders. Very large.
Netflix has money.
I know, they got mad money.
Netflix
they're like,
has...
Bam.
The second they dropped, like, what was it, like, I've heard, like somewhere around 110, 120 mil, they outbid HBO on House of Cards, which was when you knew, oh, Netflix is a player now. When they outbid HBO.
It was like 120 million.
Yeah, plus the marketing on top of that. Yeah. But so... Man, that's phenomenal. Like, oof, that's amazing, phenomenal. Somebody was just asking in the chat board if I ever get mistaken for John Green from the Vlog Brothers. Yes, Junja. So can't be a Calls Me Soul video, but my real name is John Green. And for those of you who may be familiar with the YouTube universe outside of movie blogging, the Vlog Brothers are this super popular duo of John and Hank Green. John is a phenomenally successful author who's written a ton of young adult bestsellers. He wrote The Fault is in Our Stars, which is getting made, Too Many Catherines, Looking for Alaska or something. Hugely successful author, and their channel is the Vlog Brothers. Hank and John Green are also the brothers behind VidCon, which is YouTube's Comic-Con. Right. So they're these super popular YouTubers, and their community is called Nerd Fighters. They're like fans, very rabid, passionate fans. It was funny, before I started working with Benny and Rafi Fine, the Fine Brothers, I saw them tweeting somebody called The Real John Green. And I remember having a bone to pick with them about it because I was like close friends with the Fines. And I was like, what are you doing, like tweeting some guy calling himself The Real Me? Like, I'm John Green. Like, who's this guy? And then I clicked on his Twitter and he's got like 1 million followers or something. And I was just like, oh, like, F me. Like, apparently I'm not the real John Green. It was such like an immediate life devotion when you find out someone with your exact name has just like infinitely more success. It's like, I think initially life hits you with that when all of a sudden like super popular pop stars start being younger than you, and like athletes, obviously, when you go through college and all of a sudden like people in the NFL are like 4 or 5 years younger than you. That's like your first heads up that, oh, you may not be a multimillionaire. But then when you come across something like this, which is literally like, no, we made somebody with your exact name. We just gave him a lot of talent and made him super successful. So Junja, I hope that answers your question. At least online, people think. And it's funny, around VidCon, people email me a lot because, you know, I work with a fairly big enough channel that they're like, oh, John Green, he must. So they email me about like booths and like setups and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, this is John Green from the Fine Brothers, not John Green from the Vlog Brothers. Anyway.
A different awesome John Green.
Yes.
That's what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm a different. So that's way more than you guys wanted to know about me or YouTube, but there you go. Back to the donor questions. Chris Morris, hey AMC guys, discovered you early this year, and thank the heavens I did, because I have no friends as geeky about comic book movies as me. My question is, I loved Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan and don't think it would be a problem to cast him again for the role is they do another. Could you enlighten me about the Flash character and who you would cast? Gal Gadot, Aaron, will you marry me? Well, Aaron isn't here yet.
But she'll be here in less than 48 seconds. It's 5 o'clock now, so she'll be here very soon.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Right around the corner.
Hopefully she's showing. Also, if you're wondering where Campy is, he you know, and I think he had to crash for 20 or 30 minutes. He's been talking for about 18 hours straight. So
we demanded he take a break, because otherwise he would probably still be sitting here, because he's dedicated. And we were like, look, man, just rest your vocal cords for a little bit. We'll handle it.
Recasting Ryan Reynolds.
Well, you know what?
In the same role.
It's one of those situations where you're like, hey, if you like the Ang Lee, Eric Bana Hulk, that's cool. A lot of people didn't. It didn't make that box office bank. So they recast it and rebooted the Hulk, just like they did with Punisher. They recast that and rebooted that multiple times. And then they just said, you know what, screw it, the Punisher's not working, and gave it back to Marvel. Marvel was very happy to get the Hulk back and do their version of the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, with Ed Norton as the Hulk, not Eric Bana. They had some problems with Ed Norton, so when they did the Avengers, originally Ed Norton was going to be the Hulk in the Avengers, and going to be Bruce Banner, and then they recast that, so you got Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. You got 3 different Hulks now. Which one's better? I don't know.
I feel like the line in Avengers, "That's my secret," sells it for me. I don't know if any of the others really delivered like the gravitas of that role for me as much
always
as he
angry?
did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's my secret.
yeah.
I'm always, and he turns around and like
awesome.
punches like
it was so awesome.
Now I don't know how much of that is obviously Whedon, but
Right.
you know what I mean. Like he really nailed that line and kind of like cemented that role for me. But I don't know if it's a question so much as perhaps the original movie underperforming and as coming back. Would you, if you were in that position, would you recast him?
I would have to say yes, I would recast it. I don't think Ryan Reynolds, we talked about this earlier, I don't think he did a bad job. I thought he was good in this Hal Jordan version of Green Lantern. He brought his personality, his kind of jokey personality, and as the movie went on, he lost kind of that like smarmy, jokey, character-esque element to Hal Jordan and became a little bit more of a hero. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he was surrounded by a horrible script and just an inept end result vision. It just did not have anywhere to go but down. And it was like he was surrounded by a poo cloud at the very end. The worst type of like, I'm Galactus. No, wait, I'm a bunch of wispy brown tendrils. Sorry, that just doesn't work.
Didn't they do that in like Fantastic Four?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Galactus.
Yeah, exactly.
They did the Galactus cloud, and everybody hated it. So you'd think that someone would learn, like, you know what? When you have a brand new character, like we had the Fantastic Four, and they fought a cloud, it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a disappointment. It's kind of lame. Just don't do that again. And then DC was like, all right, we definitely won't do that. What we'll do is concentrate on having this one character's head slowly get larger and larger, so I feel like I'm watching a David Lynch film, and he's screaming the entire time. And then this other creature comes and turns him into a cloud. Or it ended up with him fighting a brown cloud in front of the sun. The effects look cool. I didn't even hate that much on the weird kind of striated muscle outfit that they made for Green Lantern. I thought it was stupid, but
it was just I think it was just too cartoony for me. Like
and
it was
also
like
his CG face mask. I mean, just give him a face mask or none at all. Why does he even need it? Well, you'll need to. So it's like the Lone Ranger. It's like, well, you'll need to hide your identity. Then why don't you wear a helmet, you idiot? It's like, what are we at, masquerades? Here, it's like, I'm sorry, it's like, hey, you won't know who I am. The old Clark Kent thing. Oh my God, where did John Schnepp go? Oh wait, here I am. It's the same thing where you're just wearing a visor, like, and of course they changed his eyes to silver. Still, I'm sorry, it doesn't sell it. I just thought it looked corny. If Ryan Reynolds came back, I wouldn't hate on that idea. I don't think that Warner Brothers DC will do it because they're not moving forward with a Green Lantern 2. And unfortunately, Green Lantern kind of failed not only critically, but also on the box office. It was a dud. So I kind of tend to think that they're going to recast it. And that's not no hate on Ryan Reynolds. It's just that's just how it worked out. I mean, someone else is going to play the Hal Jordan character in Justice League or a new Green Lantern. They might be like, look, we're going to make a new version, just like they did with Ang Lee's Eric Bana Hulk. They went to Ed Norton, did another Hulk, and they, you never know how many more versions of a character there's going to be. They had Superman, Brandon Routh. They were like, look, this is the brand new Superman, and he didn't make it through the first film. They spent a couple of years thinking about making a second Superman movie with Brandon Routh and Bryan Singer, and ultimately it didn't make enough money, and the critical you have the critical acclaim or the reviews of it that were like middle of the road. It critically was like got better reviews than the Man of Steel as far as Rotten Tomatoes goes, but a lot of people really went and saw.
Plus, you can't feel bad for Ryan Reynolds. He's gorgeous. He dates gorgeous women. If I had to pick, I'd put him in a Deadpool movie anyway. So,
yes, I totally agree.
So,
I'm waiting for them to just say, "Look, can we just make that like 30 million Deadpool movie?
Yes.
Just do it. What's wrong?"
Like the Spawn, like our generation, or the aught Spawn. Or whatever. Rob G, I was wondering, he also donated. By the way, these donors are the ones that are kind of hijacking our conversations. Just so you guys know, there's a comment section when you donate, and they're asking questions. A lot of them are comic related, so apologies if you aren't really into that scene. But and we're the people that have taken their time and generosity and sent us money. We're doing our best to answer their questions. Rob G, I was wondering, since Batman in this universe is seasoned, what if Batman's next movie will be similar to Arkham Asylum, only this time Harley Quinn is the mastermind behind Batman's entrapment. Her primary objective is to free the Joker. Now the secondary object can be altered by yourself. Spoiler alert, at the post-credit scene, we see Joker at the highest level of security exiting the asylum, walking down a dark tunnel, laughing but not revealing his face. So this is obviously the video game Arkham Asylum. It seems like Rob's just kind of pitching his take on the next Batman movie being modeled after the game itself. Did you play any of the Batman games?
I loved Arkham Asylum. It was the closest I'll ever get to being Batman.
Yeah.
Like I got to hang on a weird thing, like swing around, jack criminals, jump down and fly on them and punch them out. It was so satisfying and fun. The levels were incredibly hard. That Scarecrow level where I had to be like scrimping around, and Scarecrow was super giant,
like drugged.
Yeah, it was drugged out, super crazy. That took quite a while of me throwing the controls in frustration to get through that. And I think I got all the way to the very end because I got to the Joker, Super Joker,
and he's on the roof, right? Yeah. And he's got like legs or stuff like that. And you've got to like tie his limbs to like the roof.
I did not get through it. I quit, and I was like, you know what? I know. Like somebody was like, "You're at the very last level." I was like, "Cool, I'm done." Because I could not be the Joker. And somebody was like, all you have to do is this, this, and this. I was like, that's cool.
See,
I didn't do it.
I've reached that point, and then I resign myself, and I figure out people have come before me and figured this out. And then I start Googling. I Google my strategy. I figure out, so you do this, 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 repeat, wait, this, this, this. And then if I ever get to that point where I just resign, then I'm not smart enough to figure out how to beat this. But
I got to that point.
I got to say, Arkham Asylum was an epic comic video game for sure. It did like the same way you could say that Nolan's films, and did the comic justice. That video game, I forget who the studio was behind the Arkham games, if it's even been the same one, but they did justice to him within a video game. That was a great, like, spooky, dark.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Bloody.
Great storyline. Yeah. You're inside Arkham. Did you play Arkham City?
I did. That was the sequel, right? Because I always got the two confused. But because, like, obviously in the first one you were locked inside the asylum, and in the second one you were locked on the island or something, or
in the city.
In the city itself had been locked down.
Yeah. I played a little bit of it, and then I literally stopped. I played for a couple nights, and I just got too busy. And so it's like I haven't returned to it yet. And then instead of returning and finishing Arkham City, now they have Arkham, I think it's called Origins. Mm-hmm. Like an entirely new game has come out, and I still haven't finished Arkham City. I saw the trailer for Arkham Origins. It looks fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, it's got like Deathstroke. It's got Black Mask. It's got all these cool characters.
I think it's going to be my next. I just beat Assassin's Creed, so it's my next purchase. Dustin Voorhees is going way back. He says, Soul, tell us when Campia left you in the middle of movie 43. I don't even, it sounds like a memory. It sounds like a thing that happened. I could see him walking out in the middle of movie 43. I must have seen it with him if Dustin is remembering him walking out of this movie. That was, movie 43 was one of those movies that I was just fascinated about, and going into, and I think even before it, I'm sure it had like a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like terrible, which only then exacerbated my interest in the film. But that was the sort of thing where you kind of have to sit through it out of like sheer like morbid curiosity, and also just seeing like, well, what A-list celebrity am I going to see next doing something terrible. So it was fascinating to me because it was the Farley brothers, right? I think that were behind that, or they at least like produced or organized it, because it was like 12 directors and like a dozen actors, writers, and man,
I didn't see it, so I haven't seen it.
It's a pile of crap, but it's like one of those Kentucky Fried movies. It's like a movie anthology, but each one is like weirder and more disturbing, and like a lot of like black dark humor, and just like Halle Berry like mixes guacamole with like a giant fake boob, I think. Like it's just, and really that's where it starts, and it just goes weirder from there. Wow, all right. So back to our donor questions. Mike D, who donated, thank you very much. And David, hey, sons and daughters of AMC, love this show. Thank you so much for doing this for a great cause. My question is in regards to the new Spider-Man trailer that came out last month. I love it, and I'm super excited about the film. The one thing that stood out to me is that the trailer flowed much like a trailer for the recent Marvel Cinematic Universe trailers that we have seen in the past few years. Additionally, there is a shot in the trailer at the 15-second mark that shows Spider-Man diving under a police car, and interestingly, to the left of the police car is clearly a sign for Disney, and right above it is a sign for Sony. I then remembered reading a report that when The Amazing Spider-Man came out in 2012, that Sony and Disney were close to an agreement on having Stark Tower appear in the background somewhere in the film, but it never happened. Is this true? I know Sony owns all the rights to Spider-Man, Disney owns all the rights to the Avengers, but could this all be a hint to us fans that we might see these two universes merge with both companies splitting profit on any joint films?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But I think it was the opposite way around. I think it was like having Oscorp be in the Avengers movie.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's...
Although I did hear about Stark Tower, too.
Really? I didn't hear about that one.
And Spider... It's... I don't know.
Either way, I don't really... we've talked about this before. I don't think that, it's going to behoove Sony to... Or it's actually going to behoove Marvel to throw Spider-Man into one of their films.
What's weird to me is things like the Lego movie. And I don't know if there's any Marvel in the Lego movie. Do you know?
I'm not sure.
But, I mean, that is a movie that is pulling iconic characters from across the board.
Right.
And it is just... it's just fascinating because you see that and you're like, oh, so these studios and lawyers can work together if they're Lego people and not, you know what I mean? I guess not live action. It's just, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Well, all these different characters and how they were sold, they all have these different deals. Like Marvel can still use Spider-Man and Wolverine and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers all in a cartoon for TV, but they cannot do separate feature films with live action. So.
Part 10 of this AMC Movie Talk 24-hour marathon is apparently just crossed the 2-hour mark. I don't know. Some people think that the stream may shut off. I don't know if YouTube has a live stream duration limit. I think if it didn't shut us off at 2 hours, it may not until 3 hours. But if you see the stream randomly go down without so much as a goodbye, it's probably because we hit some sort of limit on YouTube.
Should we stop streaming, or
I don't. I think it's fine. I think it's fine now. I think as long as this is going, I think we're in a good place. So anyway, Campia is a quick update. Campia is sound asleep and a lazy boy in the living room.
Right.
Erin, we think, is on her way at some point.
She's supposed to be coming at some point.
I'm probably going to bed soon. And we got John Schnepp here. So we're answering all the questions that people have submitted attached to their donations on the CrowdRise page that you see the link slathered everywhere. Again, I'm Soul Video. I used to produce the movie blog Uncut Live back on nowlive.com about 4 years ago. And actually, I was on the early For Your Consideration podcast, so some people may remember me from that. Let's see. Back to the questions. Wiley Todd, will they make a Minecraft movie? A lot of the cast can be all the YouTubers. Can cast, and you guy are the best thing in my life besides my family. Well, Wiley, that's a great compliment. Minecraft is very interesting to me because it is obviously wildly successful online, but I get the sense that it is not quite broken mainstream yet. Minecraft is still very much an indie game, and there's obviously a ton of Let's Plays. There are huge YouTubers that have millions and millions of subscribers, and all they do is play Minecraft. There's Captain Sparkles and Sky Does Minecraft. All these guys do is play Minecraft mods, and Captain Sparkles does a lot of like Minecraft music videos where he kind of red versus blue. He CGIs like music videos, and he creates his own original songs and stuff like that. But it's still, I get the sense that Minecraft is still a very closed culture, even though it's this amazingly innovative sandbox game where you can build and do anything, and it's got this very unique, modular block look, and it's inspired its own styles, and people do amazing things in that world. They build the Starship Enterprise, and they build cities from Lord of the Rings, and they build all of these epic things in these collaborations. I think they built like the whole like Game of Thrones village in one of the maps. But I don't know. I don't know if that could break mainstream. It's a very interesting thought. I mean, they could probably do the movie relatively inexpensively, and if they did, if the voice cast was these huge YouTubers that have giant followings, it could very easily make its money back and potentially a huge profit, depending on the budget. So I don't know. It's interesting. Have you ever played Minecraft, or are you at all?
I've watched other people play it, and to be totally honest, have not had any interest in playing it. I've watched other people play it. I've seen people dress up as the characters. I know what all of the Minecraft.
There are tons of Minecraft series on YouTube. People are asking if it's worth your time. It is an amazingly in-depth game where you can literally kind of like build and do anything. It is like sort of like the definition of like an 8-bit universe, because everything's so blocky and hard textured. But you literally start out and you build a cabin and fight monsters, and it is a game that you could definitely lose yourself in if you liked in building worlds and universes and spending that time to like build a castle and build a fortress, and you know what I mean? It's one of these like, and almost like we were just talking about Lego, but it is sort of like a very hyper extended version of that. But anyway.
So check out Minecraft if you want to explore that world.
As for a movie, who knows? They would have to do it fairly cheaply, but if they did use YouTube talent, it would probably make a ton of money. Okay, back to the questions. Coco, why Coco? I have a feeling this first word is something in Filipino, but he's saying, hello, Filipinas. Continue the fantastic work. Thank you for doing this. As a Filipina, it means a lot. 1,000 thanks, prayers, love, and support to the Philippines.
All right. Coco.
Pancho El Dinosaurio, which I hope is your real name, because Pancho El Dinosaurio is maybe the greatest name I've heard in quite some time. Greetings. I love the movies based on books and comics, but I was wondering, with so many movies every year, is it possible to have a big movie with an original idea? Thank you. Big movie, yes. I think there's obviously lots of medium to smaller movies that are original ideas every year.
Well, you got two movies that are coming out this year that are original ideas, and they're big movies. One of them is called Transcendence. It's directed by Wally Pfister, who's who used to be Christopher Nolan's DP for all of his films. This is his first film as a director.
Where it's very familiar to me. What is the Transcendence?
It's Johnny Depp
playing
a character who figures out a way to download your brain basically into a computer and gets shot and killed by a revolutionary network that's against that idea. Okay. And then his brain proceeds to get downloaded and creates the singularity. And then bad things start to happen. So we've seen the trailer. It looks really. I'm way interested in seeing it. And then you have Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which is another brand new, not based on anything. It's a brand new science fiction film, also giant budget, about astronauts discovering a wormhole and traveling through it. And what does that, us traveling from, here to 1 million light years away, what does that bring to the planet? So pretty crazy.
So yes is the answer to that question.
There's a couple of big ones coming. So
coming up, Mighty Harlequin. Hi from England. Big fan since the 4-year consideration days. What chance of a 4-year consideration reunion episodes with Roth and Soul? Hey, I'm in the question. It's 5 a.m. here, but holding on in there. Glad to be a part of this charity drive. Really impressed with how, well, he's probably fast asleep at this point. Right. My friends and I play a game. I give them the names of 3 films, and they have to give me the name of the film that links them by way of the actors involved. This sounds like something I'd be terrible at. What film am I thinking of? Oh, he's gonna. This is your chance.
Okay.
The Goonies, National Treasure, Cloud Atlas. What is the name of the film that connects these films by way of the actors involved? The Goonies, National Treasure, Cloud Atlas. We'll see. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go to the chat board when they eventually get to this. The Goonies.
Somebody's saying Stargate. No, I think it's like, if I'm guessing, the way to play this is it the actor who is in all 3 of those movies.
They have to give me the name of the film that links them by way of the actors involved. So apparently, maybe there is a film that has actors that touch each of these 3 movies: Goonies, National Treasure. Cloud Atlas.
Are you trying to blow my brain up?
We'll see. I'm opening this up to the chat board. Any of you guys that are in there, can you think of a movie that somehow ties the actors, a single movie that ties the actors from Goonies, National Treasure, and Cloud Atlas? I got nothing. Nick Cage. I don't remember. I don't remember him starring in any movies with any of the Goonies
He's not
alumni.
In Cloud Atlas.
No. But he could be in a movie with someone who is in Cloud Atlas. You know what I mean? Like one of the stars of Cloud Atlas with Nick Cage with one of the stars of the Goonies. Maybe all had a movie together somehow.
I don't think I don't think I would play this game at full awake functioning ability.
Yes.
Let alone 523. It sounds like a mind twister game, which some of those are fun.
I think he means the actor. We don't really know how to play this. It's also 5:23 in the morning.
Yeah. So let's move on to another question.
And I am terrible.
Thank you for contributing.
But thank you very much for your generosity. And we hope you're still awake. And thank you for suggesting for your consideration reunion with Roth and myself. It was fun. We used to do those in Dennis's apartment. We did them around his dining room table. Reno, Grant, first of all, thank you for donating. Look, Grant donated $100. He didn't even ask for anything or even ask a question. Grant was just like, you know what? Here's $100. Good on you. Reno asks, this is a great thing. We've been watching you guys since the movie blog days. Keep up the good work. When are you guys coming to New York? What about New York Comic-Con? I don't know.
Possible? Who knows? That's very possible.
Anything is possible. I'm not intimately familiar with Campus Calendar, so I cannot answer that question. Brian, thank you very much for donating. Harrison Lyle, do you guys think that Wolf of Wall Street is the Django Unchained of 2013? 2 small similarities are that they both came out on Christmas and they both had Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill in them.
I think that ends the similarities. Completely.
Well, they were both about making money on Wall Street. Am I right?
Somebody's saying we have to end the stream and start a new one.
John will be mad if you guys have a 3 to 4 hour video. Just saying, guys.
Chance seems to think that we should stop, and we are at 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Well, I think we'll go till 2:30, and then we'll probably stop it.
Okay. Take 15 minutes. Why not take 30 minutes? I don't think we can right now. So
Let's see. Kenneth Stewart. This is a beautiful thing you guys are doing. My best friend is family in the Philippines, and it's heartening me that you guys want to help out with disaster relief. My question is, what are the possibilities for comic book movies if a stark drama actor were to attach themselves to a major Marvel DC property? Like, imagine a Paul Thomas Anderson, Steve McQueen, Miranda July, David Fincher, Darren Aronofsky, Martin Scorsese, or Terrence Malick comic book movie. You've likely addressed this question of this type before, but I'm curious what you think. Have you ever talked about something like this?
Well, Darren Aronofsky was going to do the Wolverine. We got pretty close to that, and then he had some kind of falling out as far as that goes. Yeah, we've talked about having different kind of top-tier artistic directors working on a quote-unquote, like, bigger budget tentpole film. And I'm sure you'll see that happen, but, with what kind of results? I mean, we've had Ang Lee do the Hulk, and those results were crazy. So, sorry, hated him. Yeah, Hulk dogs, get out of here. Nick Nolte as the Absorbo Man, just a bunch of rocks, and he's fighting in an electrical cloud. I'm bored and freaked out. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, and Ang Lee's dissection of what a comic book is, but from his mind, then he translated that. So we're watching weird panels sliding. So I'm sorry, that's not how I've ever read a comic book. I thought it was a cool, interesting attempt as far as an artistic expression, but successful not particularly. So,
Curtis Peterson, Patrick Delaney, Kyle F., Brian Polite. We want to thank you guys all so much for donating $10, $50, $20. So, I mean, like, crazy generous, you guys. Stephen O. Scott donated. Hello, John and crew. Do you think we could see a new Mr. Freeze in the upcoming Batman movies? I always thought Mr. Freeze was an interesting character and could be a cool villain to see on the screen. What are some villains you guys would like to see in the new Batman movies? Thanks, you are awesome. Have you guys talked about new Batman villains?
Oh, we touched on it a little bit. I mentioned Black Mask would be cool, and I would like to see a newer interpretation, maybe into the crime syndicate area with Penguin and the Riddler.
How long has Campia been sleeping? Half an hour?
Yeah, about a half hour.
He's been sleeping for people are demanding we wake up Campia.
Yeah, no.
He's been talking for 18 hours. Do you guys realize this? He's been talking so I'll walk you guys through this. I know it's a log video, but the whole premise of this thing is to try and do this 24-hour thing. Now, even Jerry Lewis, they let him take a nap in a closet somewhere, I believe, during his telethons. So that's the point of the broadcast where you guys are in. We're trying to, and keep the show going on his behalf, and he'll be back, in the morning, as will Aaron, and and who knows. So they'll be back to finish strong. We'll be here for at least another 15 minutes. So
yes.
hang with us. Let's see. Adrian was wondering, and by the way, we are talking about what people have asked us to talk about who's donated to the cause. So if you guys have been with us for a while, and we may answer some of the same questions. We were talking a lot about comic book movies and stuff like that, but these topics are coming directly from those who have donated a ridiculous amount of money. In this case, Anonymous donated $500 and said, who should play Doctor Strange? So that warrants a response.
Anonymous, thank you so much. Whenever I see that name Anonymous, I can't help but think of the V for Vendetta movie and comic book. So thanks for contributing. I think Viggo Mortensen, I can't remember how to say his name, Mortensen would be a great Doctor Strange.
Yep. I think you hit the nail on it. I was just trying to think of like really weird potential character
Freddie
actors.
Prinze Jr.
No.
Yeah, is that because he has a mustache? Kind of. Well, no. So let's stick with Viggo. Get him.
Adrian was wondering why all these movie fans wanting to see a particular movie, why studios don't take greater advantage of crowdfunding. For example, a studio states that if the general public raises $10 million of a potential $50 million budget movie, that production will commence. Studios then only have to state when certain milestones are reached, such as $100K, $500K, $1 million, $2 million, blah, blah, blah. so that they can raise more than they initially were hoping for. These smaller investors who will not have any say in the movie will then collect percentage of revenues for a set amount of time. Those revenues will be collected and then paid out at the end of the term relative to each initial contribution. I mean, this question started... I wasn't 100% with this question when it started, because it was basically saying, well, why don't we crowdfund giant studio movies?
Right.
For the simple reason that they are giant studio movies, and why should I pay anything? But then the back end of this question was about almost getting points on the back end of the movies that you do decide to fund, almost as like a micro investor of the next Spider-Man movie.
First of all, you'd never see a penny, because that's not how movies work. Movies work as a loss. It doesn't matter if, say, it made $350 million. The people who own back-end points will never see a penny, because they'll show that they had a loss of $600 million. So they actually are in debt $250 million. So it never matters how much a movie will make. It will always be at a loss. So if you're in it for back-end points, that means you're in it for nothing. You're just not going to see that money.
What if it was points on like the gross revenue or something?
It's so hard to get.
Yes.
You really will not get gross points. I mean, I think the only smart thing is like, hey, I helped invest in this movie. I'll see, 1% gross off of any additional marketing as far as like video games. Like if you are investing in an IP that you help turn into a franchisable movie, and then you see gross points off the sales of that IP on additional merchandise, like, I don't know, say candy or something. It's like something that's tangible. You just can't rock the net or back end points.
Fernando Fernandez. Oh, another great name. Hey, John and the rest of the Movie Talk staff. Much props for action you're taking towards the cause. What are your thoughts on Warner Bros. And the Wachowski brothers and the case as a whole regarding Miss Stewart's lawsuit of copyright infringement for The Matrix and supposedly others like Terminator, from what I've read? I personally have no idea what they're talking about. Do you know?
Talking about a lawsuit that's been ongoing for many years, as far as like the Wachowskis ripping off elements of the Terminator, which also was sued. The Terminator was sued by Harlan Ellison, saying they ripped off elements of his film, his short story, Demon with a Glass Hand, all these. So actually, Harlan Ellison won. So now all new prints of the Terminator, say based on short stories from Harlan Ellison. The woman who was suing the Wachowskis, I don't believe that case ever came to any kind of finality. I know it's been ongoing for years. So, how about that for a snappy answer?
There you go. Yeah. That works for me.
It's yawn-inducing. Sorry. Hey, let's talk legal.
Jonathan Bell, thank you so much. Sam Blackburn. Why do many movies that receive positive reviews fail to make back their box office? E.g. Scott Pilgrim, Dread, The Master, and Warrior. I think simply because positive reviews do not get butts in seats.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a bunch of them, but I could say for certain, Dread 3D was marketed wrong. The trailer was put out in a weird... The first trailer and the second trailer were too similar, and they didn't really sell it the right way. They should have sold Dread as like a real kick-ass, hard R 3D cop movie, you know? And you would have got some more butts in seats than what you did. The Master is an art film. It definitely... is a really, I think, a great film. Kind of a harder one to sell. Warrior, I don't know why it didn't make that much money. And Scott Pilgrim was just one of those things where it was like, I just remember like seeing the ads for it were like these kind of floaty letters against a red background. Yeah, with a dude smashing a guitar. So it was like, why do I want to pay to see the guy from Superbad smash a guitar?
Yeah,
they didn't sell what Scott Pilgrim was in their ad campaign. So
it's it's such a shame in these cases, especially with Scott Pilgrim, just because of how like brilliant the movie itself is, and how like crazy and bananas and and epic that when you come across those things. And I remember when Scott Pilgrim was on Comedy Central recently,
right?
And I was just like, I wonder. And I went to go check like Box Office Mojo or something, and I was just like, oh damn,
right.
That was just like it's disheartening when pictures don't get kind of marketed correctly, or they don't, or sometimes they even do get marketed correctly and they still don't garner the audience they deserve.
Yeah, so. I think it just fell upon like it hit like this weird vacuum, because the year before everyone was like talking about, because we saw that trailer, and so nerds were really excited about it.
And they did everything right. Yeah. They like sneak previewed at Comic-Con and everything else. But that's part of the reason why I hesitated even on the Minecraft movie, is just because you have to, when you go kind of that niche and nostalgic, and you could even argue that Scott Pilgrim was obviously they weren't as niche as a singular video game. They were kind of mimicking all video games of like the early 90s.
Right.
But yes. Anyway, let's see how much time we have time for. Maybe one more question before we take a quick break and potentially try and revive Campia. Daniel Meisner, I had to work all day today, so while in the video I'm watching part 2, you've reached $9,000.
We've gone so much.
You've reached up to $16,000 now. Let's see what we're at right now. I think we're on like 21.6, 21.9.
Oh man!
So we are almost at $22,000.
Let's get to $22,000 right now, guys. We are. How many? $86 to go.
$86 puts us over $22,000.
9 of you guys watching, just put in $10 each, and we can rock this and get to $22,000.
How ridiculous!
That is fantastic.
A campaign that started at $3,000 can be up over $22,000. Again, $478,000 short of our $500,000 goal.
The unreasonable demands portion.
I came into this thing around midnight and said, I think we can raise $500,000. Was that an overestimation on my part? Probably.
I don't know if I'd say overestimation. Unreasonable demands.
Was it an unreasonable demand? Most likely.
Are we going to make $22,000? Hell yes.
Yes.
Are we going to do it in the next 25 seconds?
I don't know. Do it together because we have the power of the internet behind us.
9 of you AMC people watching us at 5:38 in the morning. Oh my God. I can't believe
Remember, there is potentially the coolest perk left. For $250, like we gave away 15 original John Schnepp pencil and ink drawings earlier today, which he is now starting to wrestle with the reality of in the next couple weeks. But we also said for $250, you can get John Campia to actually illustrate something of your choice, anything you want. He will illustrate on an 8x11 page, and he'll do the pencil. And then John will actually do the overlay and ink so that you can lift it up, see the original crap fest that was John Campia's pencil sketch, and then you can see the professional inking done by somebody who knows what he's doing. And come on, how epic would that be? Obviously, it's not for everyone. $250 is a lot of money, but if you are able to give that much, not only will that put us over $22,000, it will garner you an amazing conversation piece.
Yeah. Hey, look, someone's calling Campy out. Look, dude, Raul, why don't you relax? I'm glad you knew it was impossible, but man, he made it so far. He made it like 18 hours.
Yes, and he's coming back. He'll probably be here for the, in the final 4 hours.
Super impressive and
awesome.
So
I would say 22 hours out of a 24-hour marathon is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there have been people that have been awake for that whole 18 hours along with us.
Whoever's been doing that stuff with us, congratulations. You guys are officially insane.
All right, guys.
In a good way.
We are about to come up on 2 hours and 30 minutes. So before risking the wrath of either YouTube or Campia, we are going to stop the stream for 15 to 20 minutes and then potentially be back with some new host if Aaron is here. I may or may not return, but thank you guys so much for spending your evening or day or morning with us.
Yeah,
it's been
you guys.
Phenomenal. You guys are so incredibly generous.
It's 1540 in Israel. All right, Gal Gadot. Did we make that money? Like, can we refresh it? Did we get to 22?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Not yet.
I can't believe you guys didn't click on the red button.
All right, guys.
See you in a few.
All right, bye-bye.